Chapter 783. Hello, Brother Lin. Huashan entered the hall and greeted with a smile. Nice to meet you. Lin Feng smiled back at him. Nice to meet you. Huashan sat down. If it were not for the incident with Ji Zixuan, she might not have understood Huashan and Lin Feng, but now she knew very well that this handsome young man before her was a two-faced person. He was one on the outside and another on the inside. Manzi's evaluation of him was very simple, the Shan of hypocrisy. I didn't expect us to be on the same side, Brother Lin. Huashan smiled. The world is unpredictable, Lin Feng said. Huashan must have something to ask of him. Huashan nodded, thinking that Lin Feng was referring to the matter of joining the Kuei squad. He smiled. You and I are on the same boat, and we are in the same group for the path of glory. We can work together to make up for our shortcomings. Lin Feng understood. Huashan continued, I won't hide it from Brother Lin. It's harder than ascending to heaven for the two of us to snatch those 3 spots in the first group. Not to mention the 5 elite commanders led by Hong Bao, even Jin Qilin and Bai Si can't be underestimated. Brother Lin might not know, but Jin Qilin and Bai Si have already formed an alliance. Alliance? Lin Feng was surprised. Regardless of whether Huashan was telling the truth, Jin Qilin and Bai Si's alliance was indeed a win-win situation. The two of them were not weak and had a good relationship. The two of them might not be able to deal with Hong Bao, but compared to the other elite commanders, they might have the upper hand. A strong alliance. I came here this time to form an alliance. Huashan was eloquent. Brother Lin, if the two of us work together, it will be an impressive force. Anything can happen in a chaotic battle. We might be able to take advantage of it and snatch those 2 spots. I understand, Lin Feng said. Huashan let out a soft eye and looked at Lin Feng in surprise. His eyes turned. Brother Lin, you agree? No. Lin Feng shook his head. I don't have such plans. Huashan frowned, his face suddenly turned cold. Brother Lin, don't let your emotions affect your decisions. Lin Feng said, I am used to coming and going alone. People who walk different paths cannot make plans together. He would agree to Snowstorm and Shimanzi, but Huashan, fighting alongside him was like placing a bomb beside him. The first element of an alliance is united as one. Lin Feng, you. Huashan slammed the table and stood up. He was a little angry. You should know that I am the vice-captain. So? Lin Feng raised his eyebrows. Huashan's face turned green. You and I will go to the battlefield together in the future and listen to the captain's orders. Lin Feng smiled. First of all, you're not the captain. Furthermore, we are not on the battlefield right now. Last. Steward Gongsun, see the guest out. Lin Feng's face turned cold. He didn't want to waste too much time on Huashan. Yes, my lord, Butler Gongsun replied. Huashan was so angry that his face turned purple. He snorted coldly and left. You will regret this, Lin Feng. He left angrily. Lin Feng smirked at his impatient back view. He would let them settle the personal grudges between Yi Xia and Huashan. He didn't plan to interfere, but it didn't mean that he would accept Huashan. Alliance? If we meet in the path of glory, the first person I will eliminate will be you. Lin Feng had always been clear about his grudges. He didn't plan to form an alliance. In fact, Lin Feng didn't care how far he could go in the path of glory. After all, it wasn't realistic. In the first round, there were 3 commanders of the glory. In the second round, there were members of the glory team. In the third round, there were Light Man and Shadow Sword. Commander He Jin, these thresholds were like mountains. In the fourth round, he would have to face the super-strong warriors from the other 12 regions. In the end, he could stand out and enter the 5th round to obtain the right to enter the path of glory. It was harder than ascending to heaven. Let's accumulate some experience this year. Next year. Lin Feng's eyes flashed. He knew that the next year would be a milestone for him. There were 2 huge obstacles that he had to overcome. One was the seventh great extinction on Earth in February, and the other was the true pupil contract in October. Each was harder than the other. Phew! Lin Feng let out a light breath. Although he didn't have any chance of winning in this path of glory, it was still a challenge to his limit. I'll do my best. I'll force myself to be the strongest. Lin Feng stepped into the profound will realm. There were 5 realms of profound will: mid-profound will, high profound will, peak profound will, perfect profound will, and fused profound will. Lin Feng fell into the last 2 realms. To increase his strength, he had to comprehend the perfect profound will and fused profound will. I'm better at fusing, Lin Feng muttered. When I use fused profound will on remote Tai Star, I'll be able to display more power than other warriors. Peak profound will can surpass a perfect profound will. Peak profound will could be comparable to a perfect profound will, or even surpass it. After all, most Nyamo experts' origin points were fused origin points. If their profound will and origin points were compatible, their power would stack. Moreover, it was easier to comprehend peak profound will than perfect profound will. Since profound wills were one level lower, it was easier to fuse them with blade and sword arts. But perfect profound will, it's the grand Tao. Lin Feng walked towards perfect profound will. If he hadn't seen Lord Lightman's light origin, he might have considered fused profound will. But now, he didn't need to hesitate. Even if he comprehended peak profound will to perfection, it would be eliminated in the future. Perfect profound will would not. He wanted to increase his battle strength, but he didn't want to kill the goose that laid the golden eggs. Peak profound will cost 1 battle point to enter, and time limit was 1 month. Fused profound will cost 1 battle point to enter, and time limit was 7 days. Perfect profound will cost 1 battle point per day. It was the most expensive, but it was worth it. All the profound wills were perfect profound wills that directly connected to the origin energy. Moreover, 1 battle point per day was nothing compared to the cost of heaven and earth domain. With his current battle points, even if he immersed himself in perfect profound will for 365 days a year, he would be able to last for more than 10 years. There are quite a few people. Lin Feng saw many elite captains and ace soldiers on his way. They were either standing, meditating, or sitting on the ground, drawing something or muttering to themselves. Comprehending profound will was difficult, but it was also easy. It was different from blade arts, which required many years of immersion. Comprehending profound will could be done in one go. Whether it was peak profound will or perfect profound will, or even the most basic profound will or elementary profound will, they were all interpretations of origin energy. It was a way to unleash origin energy. Actually, it's very similar to Earth's technology. Lin Feng said softly, origin energy is a type of energy, a stronger form of energy. Technology such as electricity, solar energy, nuclear energy, and many other forms have been derived, but the core is the same application of energy. These methods of application are actually equivalent to different levels of profound will. Lin Feng pondered. His gaze landed in the distance. 5 people were sitting in front of a stone stele. Lin Feng couldn't help but walk over. Chapter 784. Even though there were quite a few people with the perfect profound concept, 5 people gathered together. It was quite rare. Along the way, Lin Feng had seen at most 2 people sitting in front of a mountain wall. Above them were chaotic sword images crisscrossing, explaining the power of metal. This time, the 5 of them were gathered together. The 8-meter-tall stone stele in the middle was clearly special. Hua! Lin Feng's eyes shone. The stone stele was clearly engraved with lines of words. They were densely packed, as if they had been touched or comprehended. The 8-meter-tall stone stele was almost completely filled. Aside from the words, there were still words. There were even many large characters stacked together, numbering over 10,000. Perfect profound concept, sacred light? Lin Feng softly muttered in his heart. The demon race wreaked havoc on the earth. I have the heart to exterminate the demon race. After 15 years of seclusion, I comprehended the true essence of light, the sacred bloodline. Lin Feng's eyes were like torches, quickly reading 10 lines at a glance. The entire stone stele described a human expert's path of exterminating the demon race. In the middle, there were some comprehensions on the path of light cultivation. At the very bottom, there was a description of the perfect profound concept, sacred light. Profound concepts that could only be understood, but could not be described in words, could be so eloquently written in so many words. This human expert named Wei Fu has already comprehended the sacred light to an extremely profound level. Even the comprehensions on the path of light cultivation are of great help in obtaining the origin energy. No wonder so many people are gathered here. Lin Feng read to the end, his heart stirred. This profound concept gave him a familiar feeling, as if he had seen it somewhere before. That's right. Isn't this what Lord Lightman used that day when he sparred with me? Lin Feng suddenly remembered. However, when Lord Lightman used it, it was more of an explosion of the origin energy. The profound concept itself was like a medium, and did not display its strongest power. Closing his eyes, the battle that day was still clear. I neglected that day. This profound concept's offensive power is actually not that strong. Lin Feng thought to himself. He opened his eyes and swept his gaze across the 5 people, his heart filled with doubt. The pursuit of power was the instinct of every expert. There was no reason to choose a weak profound concept. Moreover, it was the choice of 5 people. There must be something special about the sacred light. Is it because the carvings are detailed and easy to comprehend? Lin Feng thought to himself. His figure flashed as he walked to the back of the stone tablet. Immediately, he felt an extremely powerful light concept that was filled with righteousness. It was as if it wanted to bring him into the world within the stone tablet. It was a painting with deep marks, as if it had been carved with a blunt weapon. Every single chisel. There seemed to be a meaning behind it. Depict at the front and apply at the back. In the perfect profound concept, such a perfect profound concept is rarely seen. Along the way, Shi Yen had only seen a few descriptions of the perfect Upanishad. They called it unspeakable, but in fact they were just lazy. It was normal for them to keep their knowledge to themselves. Lord Lightman also trains in divine light. Right now, the 5 of them are sitting around in training. Lin Feng's eyes flashed. His intuition told him that the more simple something seemed, the more complicated it was. If the divine light was as he thought, why would it attract so many experts? I want to see what secrets it is hiding. Lin Feng's curiosity was piqued, and he sat down as well. Different perfect profound concepts have different type. The majority of perfect profound concepts are built on the premise of origin energy. The divine light that I created with all my might uses the heart as the foundation. Once this profound concept is cultivated, my heart will descend upon the origin of light. But the result is the same. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. After reading it carefully, he finally understood. Simply put, perfect profound concepts, peak profound concepts, and mid-profound concepts had all been recognized by those who had acknowledged them. For example, blade arts had completely merged the shape of the blade and the blade intent together. It was very difficult to comprehend the essence of the blade intent just from the execution of the blade move. But divine light was different. It completely separated the blade moves, and each move was independent of the other. From the combination of the blade intents of each move, one could infer the complete blade intent. It was much simpler. Therefore, divine light is weaker than normal perfect profound concept. But cultivating and comprehending divine light will make it easier to comprehend the true essence of light compared to other perfect profound concepts, and obtain the approval of the origin of light. Lin Feng suddenly understood. The entire profound concept stone stele was filled with over 10,000 words, and there was even a profound concept painting. The difficulty of comprehending profound concepts was greatly reduced. If it was only to increase his battle strength, comprehending divine light was not as good as other perfect profound concepts, especially since he had the whirlpool body. But if it was to obtain the approval of the origin of light, he planned to cultivate for a long time. This was the best path for cultivation. Comprehending a whirlpool-type perfect profound concept might not necessarily obtain the approval of the origin of light. But as long as I can comprehend divine light, there is a 10% chance that I will obtain the approval of the origin of light. At that time, with the origin of light, even if I use a mid-level profound concept, it will be stronger than a perfect profound concept. Lin Feng thought to himself, and after obtaining the approval of the origin of light, it will be much easier to comprehend and cultivate profound concepts. This path was slow in the beginning, but in the later stages, the speed of improvement would be very fast. In front of the divine light stone stele, there was one more person. Lin Feng sat cross-legged, deeply comprehending the perfect profound meaning that this expert named Wei Fu had exhausted all his efforts to create. The other 5 did not mind. In fact, they were very happy. It did not matter if there were more people. The stone stele was so big that they could see it clearly. While comprehending, they would also discuss and exchange their insight. After comprehending in front of the stone stele for a few days, Lin Feng had already recognized 5 people. There were 3 elite captains, 1 elite captain, and 1 ace captain. The first round of selection is in 3 days. How about it, Afeng? Are you confident? Elite Captain Qi Jiang laughed. I'll do my best. Lin Feng laughed. You speak as if you are definitely going to pass. Old Qi, you are only the 3rd seed. There are still 2 people in Group 5 who are stronger than you. Elite Captain Wang Yuan mocked. The 2 of them had a good relationship and often joked. After all, they had been here together for a few months. At least I'm better than a coward like you. Qi Jiang snorted. Wang Yuan rolled his eyes. You helped me pay 10,000 merit points. Who told you not to go to the battlefield? Qi Jiang said. I joined the elite army later than you, but I've already accumulated enough merit points to become a captain. You have been in the army for so long, you still have a long way to go. Wang Yuan shrugged. I'm not in a hurry to leave the army. I'll take my time. Seeing the 2 of them start to argue again, Lin Feng could not help but laugh. Both of them were Nirvana stage powerhouses and their strength was not bad. Although Wang Yuan was an elite lieutenant, his strength was comparable to Qi Jiang's. However, if an elite lieutenant wanted to participate in the competition, he would have to pay 10,000 battle points, which made others flinch. For more days, Lin Feng whispered. Time passed very quickly in here comprehending the profound concept. The path of glory qualification battle was getting closer and closer. To be continued. Chapter 785. 4 days passed in the blink of an eye. For the world of profound meaning, it was normal to stay in it for a year or so. Of course, one had to have enough battle merit. Comprehending a perfect profound meaning was much harder than comprehending a peak profound meaning. Unless one had a teacher to guide them, even with a guiding light like the divine light stele, comprehending it for a few years was considered too little. Comprehension, aptitude, and luck were all very important. Unfortunately, I still can't enter the state of enlightenment. Lin Feng felt regretful and stood up. The epiphany of profound meaning was very crucial, just like the epiphany of blade skills. Simply put, the daily epiphany was an accumulation of power, knowledge, and heart. Only the epiphany could advance on the path of profound meaning comprehension. Thick accumulation was thin. Some warriors would be clear after a few or even dozens of comprehensions. Some warriors could walk to the end of this Upanishad path after just one enlightenment. Everyone was different. However, the words on the stele written by Senior Wei Fu are thought-provoking. Lin Feng looked at the steel, especially at the words in the middle, describing his understanding of the true essence of light. It was the accumulation of decades of experience and cultivation, the crystallization of wisdom. The true essence of light is like the boundless sea. The ocean has countless tributaries, and the true essence of light contains all kinds of paths of light. There are the light lineage, the halo lineage, the radiance lineage, the light lineage, and so on. The sacred lineage is only a part of the true essence of light. All rivers flow to the sea. But the origin of light is the same, like the vast sea water. Lin Feng left the world of profound meaning. Even if he had not comprehended it yet, his accumulation was real. Glory territory, a sea of people. All the elite soldiers and ace soldiers were gathered together, waiting for the prelude to this year's Road of Glory battle. Especially the appearance of the White Ram Army Lord, everyone was looking forward to it. For the past 5 years, Yiwu Junju had been in charge. I heard that the White Ram Army Lord is even stronger than Yiwu Junju. It seems like it. Yiwu Junju is always smiling, without any killing intent. But the White Ram Army Lord is different. He is domineering. When he speaks, I don't even dare to raise my head. He is definitely a cruel and merciless lord. Shu, lower your voice. Aren't you afraid of being heard by the 2 generals? Lin Feng came alone. Entering the world of mystery, a familiar figure appeared in front of him. Dressed in a red dress, Shi Manzi was exceptionally eye-catching even in the midst of a crowd. Lin Feng faintly smiled. He walked over and said, "You're early." "Because I was waiting for you." Shi Manzi smiled faintly. "Waiting for me?" Lin Feng was curious. "Here." Shi Manzi handed over a thick booklet. Lin Feng reached out to take it and flipped it open. Instantly, his eyes lit up. Qing Wu's handwriting was neat and tidy. With one look, one could tell that it was written by a woman. On the first page, He Yan's information was clearly written, from his personality to his expertise in martial arts. Flipping to the back, there were Earth Walker, Broken Arm, and Golden Qilin. There was information on by Si, Jinjiu, and even Huashan. Took a lot of effort for him to do so. Lin Feng looked at Shi Manzi, his heart moved. Thank you. Needless to say, it was definitely written by Manzi. Furthermore, it wasn't just a simple collection of information. It also included some of Manzi's suggestions to take advantage of the enemy's weakness. You're welcome. Shi Manzi's phoenix eyes slightly raised. There's still half an hour. Hurry up. It should more or less be of some use. Lin Feng nodded. There was no need to say any more polite words. Opening the booklet, Lin Feng quickly read through it. Every word was clearly imprinted in Lin Feng's mind. Lin Feng would never forget it. He flipped through the booklet at a speed of 30 seconds per page. In this booklet, the first one was the 3rd seed of the first group, He Yan. The information was the most detailed and dense. Next was Earth Walker and Handbreaker, the 4th and 5th seeds respectively. Shi Manzi was very smart. He Yan. 7th level of Nirvana stage, origin of underworld fire, peerless ordinary. Earth Walker, 5th level of Nirvana stage, origin of savage earth, 2nd awakening of bloodline. Handbreaker, 8th level of Nirvana stage, beware of his broken left hand. It can be reborn from darkness. His self-created severing blade technique specializes in mortal level. The information of every opponent was very detailed. There was no superfluous introduction. It revealed their strengths one by one. There were very few secrets that could be hidden from the experts of the army commander level. After all, the elite army commanders had already gone through countless battles. Their specialties were already known to everyone. 3 spots. The first group's first seed Hong Bao and second seed Li Zhen were the 2 strongest. Their strengths were ranked 1st and 8th among the 10 elite army commanders. There was no doubt that the 2 of them would advance. No matter how the rules changed, as long as they had outstanding strength, they could face it calmly. Moreover, the White Ram Army commander had mentioned before that this time, The Glory Alliance 7 selection was more focused. True battle strength. Pa Lin Feng closed the booklet. He finished reading it in 10 minutes. With his memory, he wouldn't miss out on the important parts. Every word appeared in his mind, corresponding to every face. The importance of this booklet was self-evident. Originally, his chances of passing were between 1% and 5%. But now, it had increased to around 10%. Although it was still very difficult, it was much easier to deal with than before. For example, the Earth Walker. This expert who cultivated the savage Earth source, and whose bloodline had awakened a second time, was extremely proficient in fighting on the ground. The savage Earth source was the fusion of the Earth and Earth. Therefore, fighting him on the ground was a great taboo. Even if he could win, he could use the opportunity to escape through the Earth. If he chased after him, underground was his world. His side couldn't use their strength, but the Earth Walker could use several times their normal strength. Moreover, he had a crafty personality, so he often showed weakness to his enemies. With my strength, I might not be able to win against Jin Qilin, Bai Si, and Jin Jiu, especially since Jin Qilin and Bai Si have already formed an alliance. However, I don't fear them. In a one-on-one battle, it's still unknown who will win. He didn't know if he hadn't fought them. Their close rankings proved that even if there was a difference in strength, it wouldn't be by much. Lin Feng was very clear on this point. Because his battle strength points were high, a large portion of them were refining heart points. In terms of battle strength, he might not be able to beat Bai Si. The key to advancing is He Yen, the Earth Walker, and Arm Breaker. Lin Feng thought to himself. The three of them were stronger than him and were all Nirvana stage experts. It wouldn't be easy to snatch the third spot from them. Therefore, Shi Manzi had the most detailed information on these three people. On the other hand, there wasn't much information on Hong Bao and Li Zhen. Lin Feng pondered. Although he didn't know the specific rules of the first round, he at least had an idea. After a long while, Shua! Lin Feng opened his eyes, light flashing. He turned his head to look at Shi Manzi. The latter smiled gently and nodded. Good luck, I'll wait for your triumphant return. I will. Lin Feng smiled. Thank you. Then, he walked towards the center of the field. To be continued. Chapter 786. Offing. Qi Jiang smiled and raised his hand. Brother Qi. Lin Feng walked over. It was Brother Qi, who had comprehended the profound meaning beside the divine light stone tablet. He was the third seed of the fifth group. Beside him was a man wearing black flame armor. His hair was messy and black and red colors mixed together. His angular face was like that of a lion, and his eyes were like torches as he looked over. Lin Feng quickly recognized him. The third seed of the first group, He Yen. Offing, you're a bit late. Are you trying to learn Buddhism? Qi Jiang teased. Yes. Lin Feng smiled calmly. Brother Qi had guessed correctly. Qi Jiang laughed loudly. Relax, just treat it as an exchange of pointers. The goal is to participate. He Yen sneered. Do you think everyone is like you? Old Qi, you've participated dozens of times and have become a wily old fox. His pair of black flame-like eyes seemed to be able to speak as he looked straight at Lin Feng. This is my first time participating. The newborn calf isn't afraid of the tiger. Little He, you're wrong. I've been working hard every year, and I've already entered the third round. Qi Jiang patted his chest. This year, I'll also enter the third round. He Yan's eyes were filled with confidence. Very strong. Lin Feng evaluated him in his heart. He Yan was exactly the same as what Manzi's information had said. He Yan was an elite who didn't want to be below others, infinity long, infinity wind, infinity literature, showing off his ability. If you competed with him, he would do his best to surpass you and would never back down. Brother Qi had only said a few words, but He Yan was already comparing. Too hard and too easy to break. Lin Feng thought to himself. He smiled slightly. When the time comes, I'll be looking forward to your guidance. No need to be so polite. He Yan's eyes were filled with arrogance. I won't go easy on you just because of your relationship with old Qi. What are you saying? Qi Jiang shook his head and curled his lip. The battle hasn't started yet, and we don't know who will win. I say, little Hayes, don't be too confident. What if you lose to my little brother? You're going to lose face. Black Flame's eyes were filled with anger as he felt insulted. He pointed at Lin Feng and said, You think I will lose to him? What's so surprising about that? This little brother of mine is ranked 6th in the trump card army. There are dark horses every year. Maybe this year it will fall into your family's hands. Qi Jiang mocked. Black Flame clenched his teeth and said, If I lose to him, I'll lose to him. Humph, the position of army commander is yours. Qi Jiang gave him a sideways glance. What's the use of your position? Let me think. Why don't you offer him a rainbow star ring? Do you think I'm afraid of you? The veins on He Yan's neck popped out. Lin Feng was a little stunned. In the blink of an eye, the situation had become like this. Seeing Qi Jiang's lips curl up slightly and winking at him, Lin Feng couldn't help but laugh in his heart. Brother Qi had dug a hole for He Yan to jump into. He Yan had been schemed against and was still unaware of it. This was in line with Manzi's evaluation of him in the information booklet. He could be provoked. He Yan and Qi Jiang both spoke one after another. It was an abyss of suffering. Lin Feng didn't disturb them and silently retreated. His gaze fell on the crowd and saw a few familiar faces. Blowing Snow, Yi Xia, Wu Daozi were all here, and Emohua. Lin Feng's eyes flashed. Emohua had changed a lot. After being baptized in the army, Emohua exuded an iron-blooded and fierce temperament. His strength had increased a bit compared to the past. Although he wasn't as lucky as Blowing Snow, he still had talent that wasn't inferior to Manzi. As long as he was given enough time and training, he would definitely be able to shock the world in the second half of the year. He didn't have many friends in Nirvana World, but they all came. Quality was more important than quantity. Brother Lin. A clear voice came from behind. Lin Feng turned around to look. He immediately saw the scholarly Yi Shuhang. Today, he was dressed elegantly and held a feather fan. Brother Yi. Lin Feng smiled and greeted him. I didn't expect Brother Lin to have so many friends. You even know an elite commander. Yi Shuhang waved his fan. We met not long ago in the Profound Meaning World, Lin Feng said. Profound Meaning World? Yi Shuhang's eyes lit up. Brother Lin is also comprehending the divine light? Such a fast deduction. Yi Shuhang in front of him seemed to be able to see through people's minds just from a few words. Lin Feng sighed inwardly and said softly, Unfortunately, I haven't made any progress. Using the perfect profound meaning divine light to obtain the light origin is indeed a good path, Yi Shuhang said. Moreover, the divine light profound meaning has a restraining effect on darkness and demons. If you can learn it, you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. The Glory Alliance fought all year round and had to face demons and Yao. The divine light had a very good restraining effect on demons. Right now, I'm carefully studying Senior Wei Fu's comprehension. I'm still far from mastering the profound meaning, Lin Feng said. Hey, Brother Lin, why do you have to study behind closed doors? You can go find the captain and ask him to give you some advice. It's better than cultivating alone, Yi Shuhang said. Captain? Lord Lightman? Lin Feng was stunned. Yes. Yi Shuhang smiled and said, The captain's divine light is very powerful. Countless heavenly demons tremble in fear. He has already grasped the essence. Brother Lin, you are one of us. The captain is willing to teach you. If you can comprehend it early, Brother Lin's strength will rise to another level. Lin Feng nodded in realization. Thank you for the reminder, Brother Yi. It's a small matter. Yi Shuhang said, When the first round of selection is over, I'll bring you to the captain. Thank you. Lin Feng smiled. Yi Shuheng laughed and said, "Don't be so courteous. Come, let's cheer each other up and pray for good luck in the first round. The 9th seed wants to advance. TSK, it's harder than ascending to heaven." There were more and more people in the field. It was getting closer to the gathering time. Lin Feng and Yi Shuheng waited quietly. Suddenly, a familiar aura appeared again. The White Ram Army's commander descended from the sky like an overlord. He looked down at the juniors with cold eyes and his hands behind his back. "Time's up." The White Ram Army's commander looked around and raised his hand. Pung, pung, pung. On the memory metal board, 4 holes were blasted in. They were the 2nd, 3rd, 5th, and 6th group. The 4 names had already disappeared. The most prominent one was the 5th group. The place where the hole was blasted was where the 9th seed was, the elite commander Gu Jin, who had a 10% chance of advancing. Xiao. From afar, a figure broke through the air. His brows were filled with urgency. Lin Feng looked over. It was Gu Jin who had rushed over. He was late by a split second, but, purring. The White Ram Army's commander extended his right palm. A terrifying force blocked him. "Get lost." As a soldier, you don't even have a sense of time. The White Ram Army's commander's eyes were cold. Gu Jin, who was half kneeling on the ground, was unable to move. Such terrifying strength. "The 56 of you, follow me." The White Ram Army's commander did not look at Gu Jin again. He immediately moved to the right. Chapter 787. Entering the Glory Domain. This was the foundation of the Glory Alliance, just like the Blood Tower's mother and son Blood Tower. Hua Lin Feng's eyes became misty, as if he had entered a fairyland. A familiar feeling filled his heart. Thinking about the Battle of Glory Star last year, a year had passed in the blink of an eye. The difference between him and the goddess Wakaman had not shrunk, but instead became bigger. But he did not regret it. Even if he could do it again, he would still make the same choice. Everyone had their own fate. Also, any effort is useful. Even if you can't see it now, you can't reap it, but one day it will all be returned to you. Lin Feng did not feel that he had wasted this year. He had been working hard, desperately moving forward. That was enough. As the White Ram Army leaders stood still, the 56 competitors stopped. Lin Feng looked forward. Sitting in this misty land, there were 6 paths that seemed to lead to the sky, full of mystery and beauty. It was fascinating. Simulated Danger Zone. Lin Feng remembered it clearly. The Battle of Glory Star a year ago was still vivid in his mind. The place he had entered was one of the 6 great danger zones, the door of heaven's wrath. In reality, this place was open to the Glory soldiers. It was a part of the Glory domain, used to train their battle strength and familiarize themselves with the 6 great danger zones. Entering required battle merits. A normal simulated danger zone required 1 battle merit, a basic simulated danger zone required 10 battle merit, an intermediate simulated danger zone required 100 battle merit, and an advanced simulated danger zone required 1000 battle merit. It was suitable for normal soldiers, elite captains and elite commanders to train. Basically, the failure rate was over 90%. An ace army expert of the Sage stage, in terms of bloodline, source points and other aspects, would surpass the elite army, comparable to an elite commander. Normally, they would choose to enter the most dangerous advanced simulated danger zone. As for going higher, there was no such place. True Nirvana stage experts would often directly enter the 6 great danger zones. That place was thousands of times larger than the simulated danger zones. There was endless training, endless danger, and endless opportunities. Only by standing out could one succeed. Great Nirvana stage experts. As you can see, the first round of the Path of Glory qualification battle will be held in the simulated danger zone. The White Ram Army leader's lips curved coldly, but it is an advanced simulated danger zone. The crowd was in an uproar. The expressions of the originally calm elite commanders and military officers suddenly changed. Lin Feng was also shocked. Apart from the weaker demons and essence-wood spirits, there were also the natural perils of the 6 great perilous lands, as well as the true heavenly demon experts, and even ferocious beasts. It was not an ordinary sky fiend or sky demon. Primordial heavenly devil, heavenly demon emperor, super dire beast. It was a powerful existence comparable to the human nirvana stage. The death rate of an elite commander entering an advanced simulated danger zone was similarly as high as 90%. Interesting. Lin Feng was delighted. What he was afraid of was the most direct battle, just like the double elimination method used by Yiwu Junju last year. More than 50 people were divided into 3 groups and fought in the decisive battle space. The top 3 people in each group were chosen for a total of 9 people. Finally, the contestants who were defeated in the first round would fight in a big battle royale and 6 people would be chosen. However, this is indeed beneficial to the strong. Lin Feng understood. In a chaotic battle, there would be a situation of several against one. The weaker ones would often join forces to eliminate the stronger ones. However, it was different in an advanced simulated danger zone. Like himself, the Golden Qilin, Bai Si's death rate in the advanced simulated danger zone was definitely over 90%. But what about Hong Bao and Li Zhen? They can definitely survive in there. Lin Feng was clear. Including Black Flame, Earth Walker, Broken Arm and others. The experienced elite commanders might not be as good as Hong Bao and Li Zhen, but their death rate would not be as high as 90%. Lin Feng's gaze swept across. He could clearly see the confidence in the eyes of many of the elite commanders. There is a huge difference. Lin Feng sighed. During the Battle of Glorious Star, he had only entered a level 1 ordinary simulated danger zone. It was suitable for all the soldiers of the official army to enter. It was not even a level 1 simulated danger zone. But now, he had crossed 3 levels. It was hard to imagine. General, may I know the battle merits to enter? One of the elite commanders asked. The White Ram general frowned with disdain. A mere 100 battle merits. Do you think I will let you give it to me? There was laughter all around. That elite commander's face turned red. Although there were 56 people and a total of 5,600 battle merits, to a general-level expert, this little bit of battle merits was nothing in his eyes. Silence! The White Ram general shouted. His voice was not loud, but it was enough to intimidate everyone. His gaze coldly swept across. The White Ram general said, "Listen to the rules. I will only say it once. Later on, the strongest person in each group will choose to enter the danger zone. The first group will choose first, followed by the second group." When he finished, Hong Bao, Ji Zhishuan and Ma Yingjie's eyes lit up. The first 3 people had the best right to choose. The last 2 people, Peacock and Great Bright Emperor, frowned. Especially Great Bright Emperor, it was as if he did not have the right to choose. Take your own planet. This will decide your fate. The White Ram general shouted. The time limit is 1 day. After the time limit is up, the 3 participants with the most stars will advance. If the number of stars is the same, the one with the most planets will advance. As expected, Lin Feng was not surprised. He had already guessed that it was related to the planet. However, I only got 2 planets. Lin Feng knew that things were not good. The rules set by the White Ram General were very unfair to the weak. For example, Hong Bao would have the greatest advantage. With 10 stars, even if he did nothing, he would still be able to advance easily. Li Zhen, 9 stars. He Yan, 8 stars. Earth Walker, 7 stars. When he said this, more than half of the participants had an ugly expression. Peacock and Great Bright Emperor, who had lost the right to choose, revealed a smile. The rules were completely biased towards their side. Then if the number of stars is the same and the number of planets is the same, how will the ranking be determined? The elite commander who had asked the question earlier softly asked again. The White Ram General glanced to the side. Seeing that it was him again, he could not help but angrily say, "The two of you will fight one-on-one. Bowen, why do you have so many questions?" Everyone laughed. Bowen, who was yelled at, shrunk his head back and timidly retreated. "I have always been clear about rewards and punishment. I will not go back on my words. The rewards that I mentioned earlier will not go back on my words. The first place of each group will be rewarded with a third-class military medal. If the number of stars is more than 40, the reward will be a second-class military medal." The White Ram general glanced at everyone and sneered. "If the number of stars is more than 50, the reward will be a first-class military medal." There was a sound. Hong Bao, Qin Tianxing, Li Zhen and the rest had bright eyes. They were so excited that they were trembling. Military medal. Lin Feng knew the use of it. It was very useful in the Glory Alliance. "Begin." The White Ram general waved his hand. Chapter 788. There wasn't much time to think of a countermeasure. The White Ram army was swift and decisive. After the explanation of the rules, the strongest elite commander, Hong Bao, was the first to enter. He will definitely choose the God Ruins. Lin Feng had merged with Qi Wan's memories, so he knew about the 6 most dangerous places. The place with the most powerful demons was the Death Knell Graveyard, but the place with the most powerful humans was the God Ruins. Legend had it that the gods used to live here. As expected, Hong Bao laughed wildly and entered the passage of the God Ruins. For a powerful person like him, he had already experienced the real God Ruins. As Hong Bao entered, Li Zhen, He Yen, Earthwalker, and Broken Hand entered one by one. Lin Feng was behind by Si, and behind him was Huashan, whose face was full of jealousy. Whoosh! A familiar wave came, and Lin Feng entered. Ice Crystal Holy Land. A world covered in ice and snow was covered in a layer of colorful rainbow wall. A huge ice crystal stood tall. A group of ace soldiers and elite captains came to watch the show. Here, they could clearly see the first round of the Path of Glory qualification battle from the huge ice crystal. "Ah, it's Lord Lightman, and Deputy Captain Mingming, Goddess Wakaman, Deputy Captain Giant Kuei, Chuan Xian Marquis, Yu Gui, except for Lord Ingjian, everyone in the second team of Glory is here. Commander He, Commander Wei." Many people came to watch the battle. The ace soldiers could all enter the Ice Crystal Holy Land, while the elite soldiers could only enter with captains and above. All the members of the Glory team were here. After all, they needed to participate in the next round. As a member of the Glory team, it would be very embarrassing if they were eliminated in the second round. Now it was a good opportunity to observe the strength of their opponent. "Sister Manzi, can Brother Lin advance?" Yi Xia was a little nervous. She Manzi smiled without saying anything. It could be considered an answer, but it could also be considered not an answer. "The chances are not high." Wu Daozi said, "Brother Lin's strength is ranked 9th in the first group. Although it is a little underestimated, the first 5 elite captains are too strong. If Brother Lin wants to break through, TSK, it's really difficult. Brother Lin has always been able to make the impossible possible. Little Sister Chueshua is right." Shi Manzi's beautiful eyes glimmered. "I don't know why, but I also feel that he will definitely advance." "Yes." Yi Xia clenched his fists tightly. God Ruins. To Lin Feng, this was an unfamiliar place. He was most familiar with the Gate of Heaven's Wrath and Death Knell Graveyard out of the 6 great Deathlands, especially the one closest to the Qiyu clan. Qi Wan's memories of the Devil Race's main camp, the Death Knell Graveyard, were incredibly clear. "I need to read." This place, Qi Fan had never entered it before. In the 6 most dangerous lands, the primordial sky devils were nothing special. Even though Qi Yen had a noble bloodline and was a genius of the Qi Yu family, he was only as strong as a top-ranking elite army commander. Just like Black Flame and the Earthwalker. Even Heaven Demon Emperor Wu Luan, who had killed Qi Wan and was now in the Blood Mist Forbidden Ground, only had the battle strength of an ace commander. In terms of strength, I'm at most in the middle of the 10. But in terms of experience and familiarity with the God ruins, I'm afraid I'm ranked last. Lin Feng was very clear that the Path of Glory qualification competition was held once a year. Other than Huashan and himself, the others had participated in it at least 2 or 3 times. It was very likely that the 5 elite army commanders had entered the God ruins before. After all, this was the region with the most human experts. Even if they had not truly entered, they must have tempered themselves in the glory world. In this aspect, he was at a great disadvantage. There are some benefits to being ranked last. Lin Feng sized up his surroundings. The only benefit of being ranked last was that his opponents might look down on him. Of course, it was only a possibility. The surroundings were abandoned land with messy vegetation growing. In the distance, he could see a mushroom that was 10 meters tall and surrounded by 5 colored thorns. It was extremely strange. Spirits of vegetation. However, this was nothing. The truly strange thing was the shattered ores on the ground and, what a large piece of metal. Lin Feng grabbed a small piece. It was as heavy as 1,000 pounds. It was scattered everywhere as if buildings had been destroyed. However, these buildings made of metal and ores were different from the Nirvana world. No wonder it's called the God Ruins. A place where the gods once lived. Lin Feng carefully sensed his surroundings. He had half the strength of a sacred power cultivator. He was quite outstanding in sensing danger. However, the Taiyu star was too strong, completely covering the true dragon star. He was very careful. Lin Feng understood that this battle was different from the Battle of Glory a year ago. That day, he was very confident, so he did not fear anything and left the gate of heaven's wrath. However, today, other participants were not the only ones who were very strong. Even he himself might not be able to survive in the God ruins. As long as he went out, he would quickly encounter the primordial sky demon, heaven demon emperor, and level ferocious beasts, 3 spots. Lin Feng nodded. A total of 10 planets were 55 points. In other words, as long as he got 18 points, he would be guaranteed to advance. However, it was not necessary to get so many points. In terms of probability, it was most reasonable for the participants to meet in pairs. 5 would be eliminated and 5 would be left. At that time, the remaining 5 would get 2 planets and continue to fight. In the end, the first place would usually get about 5 planets and at least half of the points. It was very likely that he would be second with 18 points. There would be a lot of variables for third place. At most, he would get 12 or 13 points. At least, he could get 5 or 6 points. There are too many variables. I also have to consider the danger of the God ruins. A total of 55 points may only add up to 40 points. If I can get 10 points, my chance of advancing will increase by 70%. If I get 8 points, my chance of advancing will increase by 50%. Lin Feng quickly analyzed. The key was how big the entire high-level simulated danger zone was, and what were the chances of encountering other opponents. In any case, with his points, hiding was a dead end. Let's go and take a look. Lin Feng's thoughts flashed as he left the ruins and headed deeper into the ruins. No matter which possibility it was, he had to personally experience it to know the result. There was nothing to worry about. Failure was normal, but if he could win, then it will be interesting. Lin Feng smiled. Ice Crystal Sacred Realm. This Earth Walker is very cunning. Yi Xia frowned. He has a natural advantage. The demons are mostly active above ground, and only a small number of monsters and spirits of nature are active underground. In terms of adaptability, he's the best in this group, Daozi said. Even He Yen, who's ranked 3rd, would have a hard time against him. It's a bit troublesome. Shi Manzi pursed her lips. He is looking for prey. There are 2 paths in this direction. He might encounter Hong Bao or he might encounter Lin Feng. Everyone became nervous. The Earth Walker was not weaker than Lin Feng. With the geographical advantage, If Lin Feng encountered him, the result was hard to imagine. To be continued. Chapter 789. Qi. Lin Feng's blade slashed across. Hei Ting was like an unruly black dragon, completely engulfing the essence with spirit in front of him. Heaven rank level 7. Lin Feng could already feel the weak consciousness energy of this essence with spirit. All living things in the world could cultivate. Even non-living things such as stones, gravel, and metals could cultivate under certain circumstances. For example, giving spiritual awareness to demons. The essence with spirit belonged to the plant life form, flowers, and trees. Plant life forms were the same as the demon race. They had two paths. One was the path of following the heavens, growing according to the natural laws of the world, bearing spiritual fruits, and giving birth to divine fruits. The other path was the path of defying the heavens, cultivating essence with spirit and essence flower spirit. When they reached the peak of heaven rank level 9, they would have to withstand the heavenly lightning tribulation. If they could withstand it, they would gain spiritual awareness and embark on the true path of cultivation. Just like the transformation path of demon beasts, they had to go through 3 lightning tribulations before finally awakening their bloodline and condensing a natal Yuan Dan, becoming a heaven demon expert. Just like Xiao Yun. Strange, it's been so long, but Xiao Yun still hasn't reacted. Lin Feng couldn't help but think of Xiao Yun who was in his body. It had been a long time since the lightning tribulation ended. If he didn't feel Xiao Yun's life force, he would have suspected that something had happened to her. Although awakening the bloodline and condensing a natal Yuan Dan was indeed a long process for a heaven demon expert, Xiao Yun took too long. Could it be that I blocked all 3 lightning tribulations and it affected Xiao Yun? Lin Feng was also a little worried in his heart. He was afraid that his relationship with Xiao Yun would implicate her. However, there was nothing he could do at the moment. I hope everything goes well for Xiao Yun. Lin Feng continued forward. Along the way, he had yet to meet a true heaven demon emperor or primordial demon. He had only met a few demons and essence wood spirits, the strongest of which were heaven rank level 7 or level 8. Just like the soldiers of the official army who cultivated to the nirvana stage, their strength was only equivalent to an elite captain. Of course, the soldiers of the official army couldn't cultivate to the nirvana stage. They either had poor aptitudes or ordinary origin points. They could only reach the saint realm at most. After all, their lifespan was limited. Unless one was blessed with great luck, changing one's aptitude and talent, and recasting one's origin point, only then could one step into the nirvana stage. Such a soldier would have long been promoted to the elite army, so the Glory Alliance did not have an official army commander. Swoosh! Lin Feng's expression changed slightly as he looked towards the northeast. It wasn't the perception of his innate talent, but the feeling of the tyrant dragon avatar. As the darling of the earth, it felt a threat on the spiritual level. Lin Feng knew that this was the avatar sensing a super vicious beast that was much stronger than itself. Primordial heavenly demon emperor, super ferocious beast. Usually, the weakest of the 3 was a super dire beast. However, they were not the same. Compared to the heaven demonic Tharch, super ferocious beasts had stronger physique. His body was closer to his ancestors, and it was easier for him to awaken the ancient bloodline. In terms of combat strength, the reason why he was slightly weaker was mostly because of his spiritual sense. Although the super ferocious beasts already had the ability to make judgments and strength instincts, compared to the primordial heavenly demon monarch and the heavenly demon monarch's intelligence, the super ferocious beasts were like kindergartners. He was still unable to unleash his full strength. So, Lin Feng headed towards the southwest, away from the super ferocious beasts. There was no need to fight them head-on. Even if the super ferocious beasts were slightly weaker than the primordial heavenly demon monarch and the heavenly demon monarch, their innate talent was still there, and they were much stronger than the essence wood spirits and demons. Along the way, Lin Feng had already avoided the super ferocious beasts many times. The God Ruins was a dangerous place for humans, and the Glory Realm simulation was based on reality. Therefore, there were not many primordial heavenly demon monarchs and heavenly demon monarch. The real threat was the super ferocious beasts, the super divine beasts. Ice Crystal Sacred Realm. He avoided them again. Yi Xia said happily. Brother Lin's luck is not bad. Snow Chue said. First, the Earth Walker went towards the fork in the road where Hong Bao was, and then he avoided a few super ferocious beasts. Shi Manzi said. He's not lucky, he's intentionally avoiding the super ferocious beasts. That can't be. Brother Lin can sense the super ferocious beasts? Yi Xia's eyes widened. Doesn't that mean his Saint Force cultivation is much higher than mine? The stronger one was, the better one could sense the energy of heaven and earth. No matter if it was Saint Force or Saint Qi, Saint Force cultivators had a huge advantage in terms of sensing. Shi Manzi nodded. I don't know how he did it either. Look. Wu Daozi's eyes lit up. The Earth Walker has been discovered by Hong Bao. At this time, the surroundings were in an uproar. The 6 huge ice crystal walls were like mirages that clearly reflected the scene. Almost at the same time, the strongest of the 4th group, Qin Tianxing, clashed with the elite commander, Han Feng, while Hong Bao clashed with the Earth Walker. Run! The Earth Walker was very straightforward, and had no intention of fighting with Hong Bao. But as the strongest elite commander, Hong Bao would not let go of his prey. Not only did he want to get first place, he also wanted to get the military medal. The 3rd class medal could only be obtained from the 3rd floor of the Glory Treasury. The 2nd class medal could be obtained from the 4th floor of the Glory Treasury, where there were heaven-level treasures. And if he could obtain the 1st class medal, he could enter the 5th floor of the Glory Treasury. Of course, the conditions were very strict. He had to obtain more than 50 stars. Roar! A terrifying trembling aura exploded forth, and the flood hammer soared into the sky. Like a giant spiritual god, it directly smashed the hammer with the sound of thunder and lightning. Bang, 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 bang it fell, causing the entire ground to tremble violently. The Earth Walker's expression changed drastically, but after all, it was the 4th seed of the 1st group. With a defense-type holy treasure and its own savage earth source point that was good at defense, it continuously blocked the attack. After a while, Qin Tianxing is so strong. He took care of Han Feng in just a few moves. He doesn't seem to have used his real strength. He is so calm and composed. No wonder he is the ace captain closest to the Glory team. In terms of battle power, I think Qin Tianxing should be able to fight against a few members of the Glory team. Hong Bao is too stupid. How could he let the Earth Walker escape like that? Don't blame Hong Bao. The Earth Walker is cunning. He used injuries to lure Hong Bao underground. But Hong Bao's speed is not as fast as the Earth Walker underground. He can't even use 20% of his attack. Everyone felt that it was a pity. Hong Bao was so close to defeating the Earth Walker. He shouldn't have chased. Wu Daozi shook his head. As long as his aura locked onto the Earth Walker, and it stood on the ground, the Earth Walker would not be able to escape. Too rushed. Shi Manzi's eyes flashed, and Hong Bao is very confident in his own strength. That's why he was tricked by the Earth Walker and escaped. Oh no. Blowing Snow's expression changed. Everyone was stunned. The direction the Earth Walker escaped in. Yi Xia also suddenly realized and said anxiously, "It's Brother Lin's position." Shua. Everyone's heart tightened. Chapter 790. Underground. Lin Feng had always been on guard. His true dragon star and talent spirit were constantly probing, including underground. No place was absolutely safe. There would be level beasts underground, heavenly demon emperors lying in ambush, and countless powerful essence wood spirits. Earth Walker. Lin Feng clearly remembered the information that Manzi had given him. Earthwalkers who cultivated the savage Earth source point were quite good at Earth and Earth technique. They were best at sneak attacks underground. How could he not be on guard? I didn't expect to meet him first. Lin Feng didn't avoid the battle. Instead, his blood was boiling. To meet such an opponent in his best condition, it was a good opportunity to test his strength. If he wanted to advance, he couldn't avoid He Yen, Earthwalker, and Armbreaker. Their star points would determine the direction of the first group. They were 8, 7, and 6 points respectively. If I win, I'll get 7 points. If I get 9 points, I'll have the upper hand. If I lose, to be able to fight with an opponent like Earthwalker, I didn't come to the path of glory for nothing. Compared to fighting with Hong Bao and Li Zhen, who were the top 10 elite commanders, Lin Feng would rather fight with Earthwalker and Armbreaker. Only when the difference in strength wasn't big could he force out his potential. Come. Lin Feng's fighting spirit was boiling. Pa, pa. Golden light flashed all over his body. Lin Feng was at the 7th level of the titanium grade. He had to go all out against the 4th seed of the first group. Taiyu star spun rapidly. The Taiyu Holy Chi was extremely strong. Although Earthwalker's Savage Earth Star was 2 levels higher, Lin Feng believed that at least in terms of Holy Chi source point, he had the absolute advantage. For Nirvana Realm experts, the Nirvana Realm source point star was the 1st level, Sage Realm was the 2nd level, Nirvana Realm was the 3rd level, and above that was the Grand Nirvana Realm. With every level, the source point star would transform and strengthen, like a silkworm shedding its skin and growing. Just like Earthwalker's Savage Earth Star. Although it was a perfect fusion of Earth Holy Chi and Earth Holy Chi, it was still a peak first stage. Even if he reached the 3rd stage of the Heavenly Star Realm, he would still be at the peak of the 1st stage. However, compared to the 1st stage of the Star Realm, the Earthwalker's Barbarian Star was 100 times stronger than the Barbarian Star's Barbarian Star. However, Lin Feng's Barbarian Star was already stronger than the Barbarian Star's Barbarian Star. Furthermore, he was much stronger. New Broken Sea. Lin Feng's Blade World covered the whole area with his Taiyu Holy Chi explosion. Look! However, in the next moment, the strong earthquake shattered his Blade World. Creepy laughter sounded from underground, and the strong binding of the earth power came in an instant. The star origin was only a part of the power. Just like the realm of strength, it was the same. To be able to completely shatter Lin Feng's Blade World meant that the Earthwalker's power realm was at least 1 level higher. This is the Earthwalker's ultimate move, Earth World. In a head-on confrontation, Lin Feng knew that according to Manzi's information, the realm of strength was all-encompassing, not just the weapon realm. Although the Earthwalker's world of Palm was only 1 level higher than his. It was a peak first stage, but it integrated the power of the earth into it. The boundless earth that included everything. The power of the integration was extremely terrifying. Ha 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 ha! The Earthwalker's laughter was filled with joy and arrogance. It broke out from the ground like a sharp cone. The suppression of the Earth world greatly reduced the power of Lin Feng's attack. The Earthwalker was very proud. However, the moment his Barbarian Holy Chi touched the Barbarian Star's Barbarian Chi, the Earthwalker was stunned. Bang! The new sea break that integrated the profound meaning of light, whirlpool, showed its power. The amplification of the whirlpool body and the power of the whirlpool were comparable to the top profound meaning. However, the real power of the new sea break was the Barbarian Chi, the ultimate Barbarian Chi. The Earthwalker did not expect that Lin Feng, who was bound by the Earth world, still had such a strong attack power. With a bang, it was directly shaken to the ground. The wild laughter turned into a scream. Lin Feng did not gain much of an advantage. Although it was a probing move, the Earthwalker was a Nirvana stage expert after all. The powerful attack directly blasted him into the sky. As expected of an elite commander, Lin Feng's whirlpool body dissipated the impact. In terms of endurance, He was confident. The whirlpool body was not only useful in the whirlpool profound meaning. In terms of resistance, it was also very good. It could dissipate the impact and absorb the energy of heaven and earth. Lin Feng stopped in the air and waited while accumulating power. It was stupid to fight the Earth Walker on the ground, especially when he might be weaker than the Earth Walker. In the air, his chances of winning would increase a bit. With his ranking, he believed that the Earth Walker would not give up the possibility of taking over the planet. If he won these 2 points, the Earth Walker would have 9 points, the same as Li Zhen. According to the ranking rules, he could even be ranked first. Just as expected. Whoosh! The Earth Walker did not hesitate to give up on fighting on the ground. In his opinion, there was no need to be too careful when dealing with a mere Nirvana stage soldier. As long as he went all out, even in the air, he could still use 70 to 80% of his strength. It was enough to win. 10,000 landslide. The Earth Walker shouted and waved his palm. Countless palm prints appeared in the sky. A palm technique that was fused with the peak Earth profound meaning, together with the Earth Walker's vast Earth world, locked Lin Feng tightly. However, out of the Earth Walker's expectation, Lin Feng, who was originally bound in the center, suddenly broke free from his bindings. It was an extremely powerful force of aura. Overlord's battle power. Bang! He forcibly occupied an independent area in the Earth world without being restricted. The image of Qiyu behind Lin Feng was ruthless. The wind whistled, thunder and lightning intertwined, and thunder whirlpools appeared in the air. Facing the Earth Walker's pressure, Lin Feng's battle power exploded. New storm. The strength of the Overlord's battle power was enough to wipe out the Earth Walker's advantage in the Earth world. The Earth Walker used all his strength. Tens of thousands of palm prints that could collapse mountains blasted towards Lin Feng's storm. The Savage Earth Holy Qi and Taiyu Holy Qi clashed directly. He was very experienced and could tell that Lin Feng's Taiyu Holy Qi was not as strong as his Savage Earth Holy Qi. Even if he could not defeat Lin Feng, he would at least exhaust his Holy Qi. However, he still underestimated Lin Feng. The new storm tore apart the tens of thousands of palm print. The tiny thunder whirlpools devoured them. In an instant, bolts of violent thunder were released. The small whirlpools gathered into a huge whirlpool, causing the Earth Walker's Earth world to tremble. Lin Feng raised the black skeleton high up like a thunder god descending. Damn it! The gray light in the Earth Walker's hand kept expanding. The heaven-level holy treasure, Ashland Prophecy, appeared. At this moment, he was shocked. Who would have thought that a mere soldier, Lin Feng, who was ranked 9th in the first group, would have such strength? It was completely unexpected. To be continued. Chapter 791. Ice Crystal Sacred Realm. The people watching the first ice crystal were in an uproar. The battle between Lin Feng and Earth Walker was completely unexpected. This ace soldier Lin Feng is so strong. He's not at a disadvantage when fighting Earth Walker. It's just the beginning. Earth Walker hasn't used his real power yet. Plus, he was injured before. Look, Earth Walker's strongest heaven-level holy treasure, Ashland Prophecy, is here. It's like an impenetrable defense. It's driven by the holy Qi of the savage Earth. It can attack and defend at the same time. Lin Feng will suffer. Plus, Earth Walker still has a trump card. Yeah, Earth Walker's bloodline has already awakened for the second time. Wait, what's going on? Why did Earth Walker escape? Everyone was shocked. Just as the two were fighting, Earth Walker suddenly escaped through the earth. It was really puzzling. At this moment, Shimanzi and the other three had already reacted. Their excitement and nervousness turned to stone. Their expressions were ugly. Above the ice crystal, they saw a towering figure. Hong Bao. Lin Feng and Earth Walker discovered Hong Bao at almost the same time. But Earth Walker had already prepared an escape route. It escaped through the earth again. It was very slippery. The moment Earth Walker left, Lin Feng had already escaped. Hong Bao chased after him and locked onto him with his aura. On the ground and in the sky, Lin Feng couldn't outrun Hong Bao. Earth Walker couldn't either. But under the ground, Hong Bao might not be able to catch Earth Walker. What a pity! Lin Feng stopped and didn't escape. Like a cat catching a mouse, he was locked onto by Hong Bao's aura. It was impossible for him to escape. Instead, running aimlessly would make his situation more dangerous. After all, there were countless dangers in the God Ruins. It was a pity that he couldn't win against Earth Walker. And then Hong Bao came. Bang! Like a giant hammer hitting the air, a sturdy Hong Bao appeared in front of Lin Feng. He was as strong as a titan. He had a violent aura all over his body. He looked ferocious, and one could tell that he was someone who killed people like flies. Oh, it's the little guy from the Ace Army. Hong Bao's eyes lit up. Hello, Master Hong, Lin Feng said with a smile. Hong Bao was startled, and then he laughed wildly. Kid, don't think that I won't kill you just because you flatter me. Yes. Lin Feng smiled. Hong Bao revealed a satisfied look. I thought it was broken arm and black flame. I didn't expect you to be able to fight with that cunning fox Earth Walker. I have a whole new level of respect for you. As he said this, Hong Bao sized up Lin Feng again. Why aren't you running? I can't run anymore, Lin Feng replied. No matter how he ran, he would not be able to escape Hong Bao's aura lock, so there was no need to waste his strength. Hong Bao laughed and said, At least you have some self-awareness. Since you are honest, hand over the 2 planets and kill yourself. This will save your reputation. Being defeated in front of so many people was indeed quite hurtful. Lin Feng smiled confidently. He took out 2 planets and waved them around. Give it to me, Hong Bao said. Whoosh! Lin Feng just waved the 2 planets and then hid them, causing Hong Bao to be startled. His eyes flashed with anger. It seems that you refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Does Master Hong really want this 2 planets? Lin Feng asked a question that caused Hong Bao to be dumbfounded. Nonsense. Hong Bao's smile turned into disdain. To qualify? Lin Feng asked again. Oh. Hong Bao wanted to answer yes, but then he thought about it and frowned. Let me say it for you, Master Hong. Lin Feng smiled. With Master Hong's strength, there is no doubt that you will qualify. The key is the reward. First place will be rewarded with a 3rd-class military merit medal. Over 40 stars will be rewarded with a 2nd-class military merit medal. Over 50 stars, then you will be rewarded with a 1st-class military merit medal. Hong Bao nodded. A military merit medal. It made one's index finger twitch. What kind of reward does Master Hong want? Lin Feng asked. This time, Hong Bao didn't hesitate. Nonsense. Don't tell me you don't want a 1st-class military merit medal and want a 3rd-class military merit medal? So Master Hong wants to get 50 stars? Lin Feng asked. Of course. Hong Bao patted his chest. I want to prove to everyone that I, Hong Bao, am the strongest in the first round. Lin Feng smiled. Because of this, Master Hong, not only can you not kill me, you have to protect me. Hong Bao's eyes widened like copper bells. Protect a little guy? Did he have nothing to do after eating? Let me make a simple assumption for Master Hong. Lin Feng looked at Hong Bao. If Lord Hong obtains 50 star points in the end, then how many star points will the 2nd and 3rd rankers obtain? Hong Bao was stunned. Lin Feng said, add up to 5 stars. In other words, the possibility is very low. The remaining 2 rankers may get 4 stars and 1 star, 3 stars and 1 star, 3 stars and 1 star, 3 stars and 1 star respectively. There are 4 possibilities, right? That's right. Hong Bao nodded. Master Hong, if you kill me, if you take away 2 stars, then the 2nd and 3rd rankers will have their stars reduced by half again. There are only 2 possibilities left. Lin Feng said, 4 stars and 1 star, 3 stars and 1 star, Because there are no more 2 stars, and Master Hong, your key is the number 1 ball. You have to protect the 10th seed, Huashan, and protect either Jinju or Bai Si. Only then can you succeed. Hong Bao understood this time. So, you want me to let you go? Lin Feng smiled. Dare I ask, Master Hong, who are the remaining 2 rankers? Do they affect you? Hong Bao shook his head. Then it's settled. Lin Feng said, defeating me here will do you more harm than good, Master Hong. Once all of us with low star points die, the only ones left will be the 2nd and 3rd seed. Even if their star points don't change, they will still have 9 and 8 points. Master Hong, not only will you not be able to obtain 50 star points, it will also be difficult for you to obtain 40 star points. The rules are very clear. Once there are only 3 people left in the simulated danger zone, the first round will end. Hong Bao felt a little dizzy. However, he quickly understood that for the contestants who were determined to advance to the next round, they would not let Lin Feng leave. However, for a powerhouse like him who was determined to obtain rewards, keeping Lin Feng, who owned planet number 2, was undoubtedly the best choice. At the very least, he would occupy a spot. You are right. My considerations were too one-sided. Hong Bao frowned. His previous plan was to defeat everyone, take all the planets, and unify the first group. It would be simple and clean. But he suddenly realized that he had missed out on one possibility. Once there were only 3 people left in the first round, then those 3 people would directly advance. Many thanks. Hong Bao laughed heartily, brushing past Lin Feng. Smart little fellow, I owe you a favor. Remember not to wander around. Find a place to hide. You only have 1 day. Wait for me to take care of Li Zhen, Hei Yen, and Earth Walker. Then you will be able to ascend to the heavens and return this favor. All right, then I will wait for Master Hong's good news. Lin Feng bid farewell to Hong Bao. Looking at the back of the departing figure, he revealed a crafty smile. He did not think that he would be able to muddle through like this. Chapter 792. Ice Crystal Saint Realm. At this moment, everyone was dumbstruck. What happened? How could Lin Feng and Hong Bao be like friends? They clearly didn't know each other, but they were chatting happily and didn't fight at all. This made the group of elite officers who were prepared to see Lin Feng make a fool out of themselves. Sister Manzi, what happened? Yi Xia didn't understand. I don't know. Manzi rested her chin on her hand and looked at Ice Crystal with her beautiful eyes. Wu Daozi laughed. Although Hong Bao isn't stupid, he's much worse than Lin Feng. Although I don't know what happened, I'm sure Hong Bao was cheated. From Hong Bao's smile, he should have been cheated quite badly. He was sold and still helped count the money. Cui Shui couldn't help but laugh, and Manzi also laughed. The 2 women immediately attracted the attention of the surrounding people, especially Manzi, whose beauty was out of this world. Lin Feng didn't lie to Hong Bao. Of course, what he said wasn't entirely true. From Hong Bao's point of view, it was indeed reasonable. The God ruins are very small, Lin Feng thought. Accurately speaking, they were currently in a part of the high-level simulated danger zone that was specially used for the test. He had entered a normal simulated danger zone before, and it was much larger than the current God ruins. At that time, he could easily hide his position, but he couldn't do so here. The White Ram Army's leader said from the start that this is a battle of strength, and luck will be reduced to a small part. Plus, there's only 1 day left, so it's even more urgent. Lin Feng already had a clear judgment of the situation. He had already seen the border of the God ruins half an hour ago, and now he had met Earthwalker and Hong Bao. This was enough to prove that the first round was a head-on clash. Want to hide? Too naive. The first round is destined to be the survival of the strong. 1 person will take 50 points, and the other 2 will advance by hiding. Lin Feng smiled calmly. He didn't lie to Hong Bao. Of course, there was this possibility. As long as Hong Bao was lucky enough to meet Li Zhen, He Yen, and the others in a short period of time. It wasn't impossible. However, the probability was definitely less than 1%. The White Ram Army's leader isn't stupid. How can there be such a good thing in the first round? Lin Feng sighed. That was a treasure that could allow one to enter the 5th level of the Glory Treasury. To exchange for a perfect heaven rank holy treasure. It was of a higher grade than his supreme grade Heavenly Saint weapon, the Black Lotus. In the Glory Alliance, the lowest price is 10,000 battle merits, and it requires the Glory level. Lin Feng naturally yearned for it, but to him, a perfect heaven-ranked holy treasure was too far away. Not to mention the first-class military medal. It would be difficult to even obtain a second-class military medal in the first round. There are still 2 more rounds of screening. Why would the White Ram Army's commander take out the real reward so early? Lin Feng smiled and let it pass. After a short period of recovery, Lin Feng set out once more. In terms of battling power, he might only be in the middle, but in terms of resisting attacks and recovering power, he was definitely one of the top warriors. The power of the whirlpool body was not only in the profound sense, but also in its recovering power. With the experience of fighting with the Earthwalker, Lin Feng already had a rough understanding of his own strength. I can compete with the Earthwalker, but the chances of winning shouldn't be more than 10%, Lin Feng said. The Earthwalker he had fought before had clearly been injured, and they had not fought on the ground. Even so, he had only fought to a draw against the Earthwalker, who had yet to unleash his bloodline power. Even if Hong Bao did not appear, it would be very difficult to defeat him. It was more likely that both sides would be injured. Even if he was lucky enough to win, the Earthwalker would definitely escape through the earth. It's not easy to get his 7 points. Lin Feng sighed softly. There were only a few people who could injure the Earthwalker. Coupled with Hong Bao's appearance, it was not difficult to determine that the Earthwalker had been injured by Hong Bao. The Earthwalker could even escape from a battle with Hong Bao, let alone fight him. If he encountered the Earthwalker again, he would avoid him if he could. The Divine Spirit ruins are too small. It's destined to be a massacre. Lin Feng carefully sped through the ruins. Huge metal blocks could be seen everywhere. The number of stars for the 3rd advancement might be very variable. Previously, he had estimated that there was a 70% chance of advancement, but due to the small size of the Divine Spirit ruins, it was probably reduced to 50%. I can't rely on luck. I still have to take the initiative and try to get as many points as possible. Lin Feng searched everywhere. Currently, the one he was most afraid of was not Hong Bao. It was the 2nd seed, Li Zhen. He was proficient in formations and was a very smart enemy. Boom, boom. Golden light shone resplendently, and a strong wind blew. The Golden Qilin was fighting against 2 primordial sky demons alone. The Qilin cloud rod in one hand danced in an airtight manner, while the 2 supreme heavenly saint weapons in the other hand were sometimes combined into one and sometimes split into 2. The supreme grade nightmare lightning star burst out with the power of the 2nd stage. The destructive power of the nightmare lightning was endless. Perfect fusion. The Golden Qilin's nightmare lightning sacred chi was extremely destructive. However, the 2 primordial sky demons were not to be trifled with. They were both upper-tier primordial sky demons. In reality, the Divine Spirit Ruins was the main camp of humans. 99% of those who entered were humans, just like how 99% of those who entered Death Knell Graveyard were demons. But it was precisely because of this that even more powerful demons and monsters were attracted to this place. Those who dared to enter the Divine Spirit Ruins were the weakest primordial sky demons. Including the true human experts, many would choose to enter Death Knell Graveyard to temper themselves. That was the true path to slaughter. Damn it. Huashan, this bastard is so cunning. Bai Si shouted angrily. His movement technique was like a gentle breeze, bringing with it traces of white light. Holding a dagger, Bai Si was also fighting against two primordial sky demons. However, compared to the Golden Qilin, Bai Si was obviously at a disadvantage. Firstly, his strength was slightly weaker than the Golden Qilin. Secondly, defense was not his forte. Currently, Bai Si's body was covered in blood. For Huashan to be able to become the strongest soldier of the trump card army, he is definitely not an ordinary person. We have underestimated him. The Golden Qilin's forehead flashed with a trace of fierce light. The two rods were covered in golden light, and the rods were sparkling in the wind. He shouted, "Let's get rid of these 4 primordial sky demons first." "I will risk it." Bai Si gritted his teeth. "Haha. 2 idiots. You still haven't fallen into my trap." In the distance, Huashan was very confident. His face was like white jade, and the corners of his eyes were slightly raised. He was the one who had meticulously set up the trap and schemed against the Golden Qilin and Bai Si. All is fair in war. Don't blame me. With a cold snort, Huashan raised his head. So what if I am ranked last? I can still advance. Lin Feng? Unfortunately, we can't make use of him. However, he should have been eliminated long ago. What is there to be arrogant about? Isn't he just ranked 6th? What is there to be arrogant about? Huashan's eyes were filled with jealousy as he snorted. Suddenly, Huashan felt an inexplicable chill run down his spine. His brows furrowed as he turned his head and saw a figure approaching from afar. Huashan's complexion immediately changed. To be continued. Chapter 793. It is indeed him. Lin Feng had discovered Huashan long ago. He had only sensed him vaguely and did not probe carefully. After all, he would be discovered when he sensed others. Lin Feng could not help but smile when he saw Huashan. Enemies were bound to meet. After the Earthwalker and Hong Bao, he had finally found a prey. Huashan was probably the only opponent he had 100% confidence in defeating, even though he only had 1 star. There was basically no difference between winning and not winning. After all, other than himself and Huashan, the 8th seed Bai Si all had 3 stars. However, personally eliminating Huashan was still a delightful matter. Lin Feng, you. Huashan's handsome face turned green. When did you come? Lin Feng looked at Huashan. Huashan's reaction was out of his expectations. Huashan could either fight or run. However, Huashan now looked as if he had done something bad and was caught by Lin Feng. His expression, demeanor, and flickering eyes all betrayed him. As a saint power cultivator, Lin Feng could completely sense Huashan's mixed emotions. What are you doing? Huashan drew his sword. His eyes revealed a wolf-like vigilance. Pung! Huashan's sword world expanded as he stared at Lin Feng. What do you think? Lin Feng smiled and drew out Black Skeleton. In an instant, a dark black light enveloped him. The power of a top-quality Heaven Saint weapon suppressed Huashan's sword aura. Pung! Lin Feng's blade world was even better than Huashan's. Although they were both at the first level of perfection, Lin Feng's aura was obviously stronger. Boom! Huashan was completely suppressed. Lin Feng, we are on the same team. Huashan took a step back and said, we should team up and not kill each other here. You don't forget that I am the vice-captain. Ta! Lin Feng did not speak. He walked forward and spoke with his actions. If you come any closer, I won't be polite anymore. Huashan's eyes were about to pop out. Don't think that I am afraid of you. I just don't want to cause more trouble. I will say it again. If you turn back now, I will pretend that nothing happened. Otherwise, I will teach you a lesson on the battlefield. Cut the crap. Lin Feng's gaze was sharp. The strength of the aura completely overwhelmed Huashan's sword world. Lin Feng shouted as he activated his overlord's battle prowess. The grand serenity holy chi exploded from his body like a ferocious tiger roaring out of the mountains. Huashan's body trembled violently as he gritted his teeth. You forced me to do this, Lin Feng. Huashan's handsome face twisted. Screech. The sword energy was like a poisonous snake hidden in the dark. Huashan's speed was quite fast. To be able to become the vice-captain of the Kuei squad, his strength was not bad. Although he was only in the 9th rank of Nirvana, his source point and bloodline were the best. His immersion in the Tao of Darkness was unparalleled in the Ace armies. His sword was hidden in the darkness. Huashan's strength exploded rapidly, but he encountered Lin Feng. Lin Feng was stronger than him in every aspect. New landslide, Lin Feng shouted. Heavy without an edge, the most suitable to bully the weak. Boom. Ice crystal sacred realm. Good. Yixia clenched his fist and was extremely excited. Looking at Huashan's disappearing figure, Yixia's brows were filled with joy. After knowing the truth about Zishuan, he hated Huashan very much. But he could not take revenge. This matter was consensual. He had already suspected it, but what could he do? He could not bear to part with Zishuan. He would rather go against his conscience and choose to believe her lies. Everything that happened after was his own fault. Huashan. One day I will personally take revenge. Yixia bit his lip until it bled. He was very upset when he saw Lin Feng kill Huashan. An inexplicable carefree feeling flowed through his body. The feeling was unparalleled. Wu Daozi clicked his tongue. Brother Lin's sword technique is really getting stronger. In the Ace Army territory, everyone is comparing Lin Feng to Huashan. What a joke. Shi Manzi chuckled. Huashan is like a frog at the bottom of a well. He does not know how big the sky is. Strength is not just about battle strength points. Blowing Snow nodded. Brother Lin is much stronger. What do you think? Light Man asked. Beside him were two beauties with their own unique features. The one on the left was petite and dainty. Her skin was fair and tender, and her neat bangs were flawless. Despite her small stature, she was quite strong. Qian Hirua didn't dare to move an inch when he saw her. She was the only sacred power cultivator in the Glory Team, Meng Meng. She was also the vice-captain of the first Glory Team. People called her sister Meng Meng. His strength seems to be not bad, but... Meng Meng pouted her red lips and tilted to the right. Rua Meng, is he really a good person? A good person? Beside Light Man and Meng Meng was the goddess Wakaman. Her untainted temperament was like a mist. Now that she had reached the 7th level of the Sage Realm, her temperament was even more ethereal. She was like a high and mighty fairy, but she looked at Lin Feng with a complicated expression. Maybe. Meng Meng tilted her head. So he could be a bad person? Why do you say that, Meng Meng? Light Man asked. Meng Meng pointed to the front. Isn't he a member of the Kuei team? Didn't he just kill the vice-captain? After saying that, Meng Meng crossed her arms and snorted. At that time, if he were to join our team, I, as the vice-captain, would be bullied by him. Light Man laughed. How can you mix it up? The Path of Glory qualification battle is an individual battle. It has nothing to do with teams. Who said so? Meng Meng disagreed. If he meets Rua Meng, he will not be able to do it. Don't you think so, Rua Meng? Goddess Wakaman nodded slightly. Yes. She also told the truth. Light Man smiled bitterly and shook his head. God's ruins. 2 planets, 3 points. Lin Feng nodded. Unless the time limit was not up and there were only 3 people left, it was undoubtedly a fool's dream to advance with only 3 stars. Killing Huashan was just a small test. If even Huashan, who was the weakest in strength, had fallen into a difficult battle, there was no need to fight at all if he encountered Black Flame, Broken Hand, Golden Kylan, and others. Huashan was strong in appearance but weak in reality. Perhaps his talent and potential were indeed high, but potential was not equal to strength. From the time I found him to the time I approached, Huashan did not move. What is he waiting for? Lin Feng thought of Huashan's abnormality before and thought, It was impossible for Huashan to hide, because no one would hide so casually. The surroundings were open and the line of sight was clear. It was not a good hiding place at all. Obviously, Huashan was doing something bad, so when he first saw him, he is a little guilty. Lin Feng closed his eyes and thought of Huashan's expression and the direction of his body. Over there? Lin Feng opened his eyes and turned 15 degrees. Let's go take a look. Lin Feng's figure flashed and disappeared. Chapter 794. The Golden Qilin panted heavily. He was bathed in blood as he fought the two primordial heavenly demons with all his might. Darkness mixed with lightning, the Golden Qilin clashed head-on with the primordial heavenly demons. Although he was extremely weak, the Golden Qilin was still stubbornly resisting. Even if he died, he would fight to the last moment. I've long heard of the strength of a high-level simulated land. The death rate of an ace captain is as high as 90%, but I didn't believe it before. The Golden Qilin found joy in his misery. He knew that Bai Si had been killed before him. He and Bai Si had a chance against 4 primordial heavenly demons, but another one had appeared. 5 against 2, there was no chance of victory. Although he had used his bloodline power to kill 2, and Bai Si had dragged 1 down, there were still 2 primordial heavenly demons left. I didn't expect to die so cowardly. The Golden Qilin felt helpless. He would rather be killed by Hong Bao and Li Zhen than be killed by the primordial heavenly demons. The Qilin team he led had fought against the demons many times on the battlefield, and he hated the demons to the core. But now, he was powerless. His movements slowed down, and his nightmare thunder Saint Chi weakened. The Golden Qilin was injured again. At this moment, the Golden Qilin was alarmed, and an aura was approaching. Damn Huashan, he's really taking advantage of me. The Golden Qilin felt extremely indignant. It was too humiliating to die at the hands of such a despicable person. But there was no other way. The primordial heavenly demon's ferocious face exploded with terrifying power, completely locking him down. Pung! A powerful aura suddenly spread out. The Golden Qilin was startled, and his brows furrowed. It's not Huashan? Chi! A sharp blade energy broke through the sky. The black dragon roared, and the shocking storm was supported by the profound will of thunder. The whole sky was filled with lightning. Lin Feng rushed out like a heavenly general, saving the Golden Qilin from the fire and water. He was not afraid at all, fighting 1 against 2. The 2 primordial heavenly demons roared, and immediately turned to attack Lin Feng. New storm. Lin Feng's Taiyu Saint Chi exploded. It was an ultimate Saint Chi. Even the first level was already so terrifying, far stronger than the Golden Qilin's second-level nightmare Thunderstar. Lin Feng, in particular, had 100% of his battle prowess and was even more powerful. The demon race's strongest point was their strength. What a terrifying body! It was a profound and imposing power technique, which displayed the exquisiteness of the power to the extreme. Even if they didn't use their mysteries, their powers wouldn't change at all. There were many kinds of powers, and Holy Qi was one of them. Profound intent was power, saint power was also power, and the power of the devil race. This was the pure power of a demon's body, the unique power of dark matter. The demon race used the dark matter in the universe as energy to cultivate. Therefore, the dark matter energy hidden in the bodies of the demon race was also a kind of power. Breaking force with force. Lin Feng was also a brutal master. He directly blasted out the new sea breaker, using the profound meaning of light against the dark matter of the demon clan. If he used the dark profound meaning to fight against the demon clan, his power would be weakened. However, the light profound meaning was the nemesis of the demon clan. To be exact, light and darkness were the opposite of each other. Ice crystal sacred land. Lin Feng's actions caused an uproar. Can you be any more stupid? Helping your opponent? That's right. If the Golden Qilin attacked now, wouldn't he be attacked from both sides? If it was me, I would have waited on the side. What's better than being a fisherman? This Lin Feng is simply too stupid. The mocking continued. No one understood Lin Feng's actions at all. If it was any other time, it would be normal. However, the problem was that this was the first round of the Path of Glory. Lin Feng's strength was already near the bottom. With a mere 3 stars, there was no way he could advance. He couldn't even protect himself, yet he still wanted to save others. He was simply too stupid. Brother Lin is a good person, Chueshua said. Wu Daozi clicked his tongue, being a good person for once. However, he might lose his chance to advance. Yi Xia nodded. Brother Lin saved the Golden Qilin, so he won't attack him again. The Golden Qilin took Bai Si's planet, so his star points will become 8. He's always been good and evil. He's cold on the outside but warm on the inside. Shimanzi's beautiful eyes flashed. He can do anything for his friends and family. He won't care no matter how much he sacrificed. While speaking, Chueshua and Yi Xia couldn't help but nod in agreement. They had personally experienced it. The Golden Qilin was lucky to meet Lin Feng. Wu Daozi sighed. It's just a pity about the 8-point ball, Yi Xia said. Shimanzi smiled. There's nothing to pity. After all, it's just a competition. If it doesn't work this year, it can come again next year. If it doesn't work next year, it can come again the year after. Moreover, only a quarter of the day has passed. There's still a chance. Yes, that's true. Everyone agreed. Do you still think he's a bad person? Light Man smiled. I don't believe that he is that good. Meng Meng pouted her small mouth. There must be a conspiracy. Maybe he is scheming something. With a preconceived impression, it was indeed not easy for Meng Meng to change her opinion of Lin Feng in a short period of time. He's not a bad person, Goddess Wakamin said softly. Meng Meng said, Ruoming, didn't you say he came from an assassin organization? Goddess Wakamin nodded. It's hard to distinguish between good and evil in his actions. He does things his own way and has a strong desire to kill. But aren't we the same? Goddess Wakamin said softly, a person's good and evil is not determined by their actions. From Ruoming's point of view, it should be judged by their heart. Heart. Meng Meng murmured. Light Man gave her a thumbs up. Master also taught me to have a clear conscience in everything. Act with your heart. Act with your heart. To Lin Feng, it was not difficult to be the fisherman who benefits from the fight between the sandpiper and the clam. If it were Earthwalker, Broken Hand, Black Flame and the others fighting, he would naturally stand aside and be happy to reap the benefits alone. But since he recognized the Golden Qilin and was familiar with them, there was no reason for him to sit by and do nothing. What was the point of considering the pros and cons? Let's save them first. Boom. Boom. Lin Feng was like a hot knife cutting through butter. With his strength, he could defeat these 2 primeval heavenly demons in perfect condition, not to mention those that had lost more than half of their strength. The 2 primeval heavenly demons combined were only equivalent to 1 normal person. Defeating them did not take much effort. Are you all right, Brother Qilin? Lin Feng asked. The Golden Qilin could barely stand at this moment. He sighed. My injuries are not light. If you had come a little later, I would have followed in Bai Si's footstep. Bai Si? Lin Feng said in surprise. He did not see Bai Si when he came. He had heard that the Golden Qilin and Bai Si had teamed up. It seemed to be true. It's a long story. We fell into Huoshan's trap. Who would have thought that this would be a trap? The Golden Qilin shook his head. The White Ram Army set up a natural danger zone in every danger zone, and this is the most dangerous place in the God Ruins. Lin Feng's eyes immediately lit up. To be continued. Chapter 795. That way, it leads to the Great Ruins. The Golden Qilin pointed into the distance. As if cursed by the gods, there's a strange passage with primordial heavenly demons inside. The Golden Qilin's eyes were filled with fear. Previously, Bai Si and I were chasing after Huashan. I was in front and Bai Si was behind. Suddenly, 2 primordial heavenly demons appeared out of nowhere and attacked me. Out of nowhere? Lin Feng was slightly surprised. The golden Qilin nodded. Yes, I couldn't sense it at all. Maybe the Great Ruins is special and covered the primordial heavenly demons' aura. Lin Feng nodded. It was a complete simulation. The God Ruins had many mysteries. Bai Si and I were prepared to kill the 2 primordial heavenly demons, but we didn't expect 2 more to appear out of nowhere. The golden Qilin shook its head and said, Bai Si and I felt something was wrong and immediately fled, but 4 primordial heavenly demons chased after us, and then a fierce battle broke out, the golden Qilin explained. Originally, the 2 of them were evenly matched, but a 5th primordial heavenly demon appeared and broke the balance. Although the golden Qilin used its bloodline power and killed 2 of them, it couldn't turn the situation around. Bai Si was not as strong as the golden Qilin, and its defense was weak, so it died together with one of the primordial heavenly demons. After that, it was what he saw. Thank you, Brother Lin. The golden Qilin smiled weakly. If I die in the hands of these demons, it'll be a disgrace. It's nothing, Lin Feng said with a smile. The golden Qilin's eyes brightened. Brother Lin, why don't you come out later to take advantage of the situation? Don't you want to advance? I do, Lin Feng said, but there are many ways to advance, and it's not necessary to take advantage of others. After all, you and I know each other. Although Huashan is a hypocrite, it doesn't mean I'll be a real villain. Lin Feng smiled. Next time we meet, I won't hold back. The golden Qilin shook its head. There won't be a next time. Huh. Lin Feng didn't understand. The golden Qilin smiled with a pale face. Light flashed in its hand, and it threw it over. Shwa. Shwa. Lin Feng reached out and took it. His eyes couldn't help but light. 3 and 5 planets. I won't be able to recover my strength in a short period of time. Even 30% will be difficult. The golden Qilin said, You should know that this is only a part of the simulated land of Extremis. It's not big. I can't drag it out until the time limit is up. Instead of benefiting the other contestants, I might as well give it to you. At least. The golden Qilin smiled at Lin Feng. I'm returning a favor. Without waiting for Lin Feng's reply, the golden Qilin transformed into a beam of white light and left the divine spirit ruins. Lin Feng sighed. You really are a man. Lin Feng's impression of the golden Qilin wasn't bad. Otherwise, he wouldn't have saved him. However, he really didn't expect him to give him a planet. It was indeed unexpected. Does this count as good karma? Lin Feng couldn't help smiling. Ice Crystal Sacred Land. Everyone was in an uproar. The faces of the captains who were criticizing Lin Feng for being lenient turned green. Who would have thought that the golden Qilin would give up on its own accord? Wow, Brother Lin got 11 points. Yi Xia was extremely excited. Our chances of advancing have greatly increased. Shimanzi was also very happy. Isn't Big Brother Lin ranked first in the first group? Blowing Snow asked. Yes, Brother Lin is super strong. Yi Xia clenched his fists. Apart from taking first place in the group, stars don't have much use. Wu Daozi said, In this small simulated land of Extremis, it's too hard to be alone. Unless you're as good at hiding as the Earthwalkers, you're destined to run into each other. I believe that before the time limit is up, there will be 3 people left who will advance. Before he finished speaking, there was an uproar around them. Wu Daozi glanced over. There. It's only been 6 hours, and there are only 4 people left in the 4th group. It was extremely intense. The Great Ruins, the strange tunnel Lin Feng didn't leave. Instead, his gaze focused on the natural danger zone that the golden Qilin spoke of. He was deep in thought. There had to be a reason for everything. My stars are now 11, and the others are now 11. Lin Feng nodded. If we drag it out until the time limit is up, it means that there will be at least 4 people left. Unless we fight in pairs and don't run into each other in the end, I won't be able to fall to 4th place. As long as one person obtains 3 planets, I'll be 3rd. The possibility of advancing is quite high. Lin Feng smiled and let it pass. Plans could never keep up with changes. The idea was indeed good, but in this small simulated land of extremists, to drag it out until the time limit was up was easier said than done. There are pros and cons. Lin Feng held Black Tortoise in his hand and walked toward the danger zone that the Golden Qilin spoke of. Xiang Hu Shan Xing said, "With my current strength, I don't have the confidence to take down any of the 5 elite commanders. Rather than that, I might as well go deep into the natural danger zone and protect myself." The natural danger zone wasn't necessarily bad for him, because for the other participants it was also a place of death. Whoosh! Pa! The 4 symbols roared, an array of light rose in the sky. A man with thick eyebrows and white hair walked out of the array. He didn't look old, but he gave people a feeling of vicissitudes of life. 2nd seed, Li Zhen. 15 points. Li Zhen held a 6th planet in his hand, which belonged to Severed Hand. Looking around, Li Zhen murmured, "It took 6 hours to hunt the first prey. My luck doesn't seem to be very good." Different from the other strong people who took the initiative to attack, Li Zhen instead waited for the prey to jump in one by one. Although he only killed Severed Hand, Li Zhen's current stars were actually enough to advance. "It's still early, let's wait a little longer." Li Zhen turned around and entered the 4 symbols array again. Great ruins. Lin Feng stepped in and swept his gaze across the area. If the ruins outside were piled up and restored, it would be a metal building, then the ruins here would be a large-scale town. For Lin Feng, who lived in the high-tech era of Earth, it was actually not unfamiliar. An ancient civilization like Earth, Lin Feng pondered. God ruins. To be precise, it should be the ruins of an ancient civilization. Lin Feng wasn't surprised. Since there was life on Nemo, it was naturally possible that there was an ancient civilization. Earth also left behind sacred relics like the pyramids and the Great Wall. However, there was no ancient civilization like this huge ruin in front of him. The civilization here was also different from the ancient civilization on Earth. Legend has it that the human strong people obtained many treasures in the god ruins. No wonder. Lin Feng nodded. Obviously, the ancient civilization in the god ruins was very powerful. If I have the chance, I must go to the real god ruins. Lin Feng was looking forward to it and sighed. Instantly, he felt a special energy fluctuation. Not far ahead. This is the strange passage that the Golden Qilin mentioned? Lin Feng's eyes lit up. Chapter 796. Lin Feng was curious. As he slowly walked forward, a unique energy wave enveloped this strange tunnel. This was a trapezoid-shaped tunnel. The entrance was about 10 meters tall and dozens of meters wide. However, the further one went, the wider and higher the tunnel became. Lin Feng floated in midair and looked into the distance. It was like a constantly expanding dragon tunnel that led to an unknown world. So, Lin Feng's figure flashed past at an extremely fast speed. His aura probed the surroundings. Lin Feng walked straight along the trapezoid-shaped tunnel. The tunnel's exterior was made of a strange metal structure. It looked like a foam pipe, but it had a metallic luster and was very elastic. It was like a soft metal made of mercury that could withstand extreme pressure. The further one went, the bigger the trapezoid-shaped tunnel became. The tunnel's width and height reached nearly 10,000 meters. It was like a huge monster. That's it. Lin Feng touched a light wall at the end. He had seen it before. This was the border of the Divine Spirit Ruins. To be precise, it was the end of the simulated Divine Spirit Ruins. However, the trapezoid-shaped tunnel had not reached its end. It continued to extend as though it was endless. Does this really exist? Lin Feng was very curious. He could not see the uniqueness of the trapezoid-shaped tunnel from the outside. He would only know if he went deep inside. Lin Feng was not in a hurry to succeed. He continued to probe the ruins. The Golden Qilin had said that the White Ram Army Lord had set up a natural danger zone in every danger zone. This was the most dangerous place in the Divine Spirit ruins. He had not met any primordial heavenly demon or heaven faith arch along the way. This strange place is like the end. Lin Feng was rather surprised. Logically speaking, even if there were no primordial heavenly demon or heaven faith arch, there should be some demonic creatures or essence wood spirits. However, in reality, other than the ruins, this was a barren land. Of course, there was also the trapezoid-shaped tunnel. There must be a problem there. Lin Feng was alarmed. Unless the Golden Qilin's judgment was wrong, there had to be a secret in this abnormal ruins. The key to the secret was most likely the trapezoid-shaped tunnel. With that thought in mind, Lin Feng had already made up his mind. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Since the Golden Qilin could escape through the passage, Lin Feng was naturally confident that he could do the same. I'd like to see this primordial skyfiend that appeared out of nowhere. What's going on? Other than being curious, Lin Feng also had his own plans. The great ruins seemed mysterious and huge, but in reality, there was no natural barrier to defend against, nor was there any geographical advantage. If he couldn't make use of it, what was the point of staying here? Lin Feng entered. As the energy fluctuated violently, Lin Feng held Black Skeleton and cautiously moved forward. The entrance wasn't big, so if there was a fight, there would be no place to hide. Fortunately, nothing unforeseen happened until he had completely entered it. It was like a broad road, flat and smooth. The more it was like this, the more Lin Feng did not dare to be careless. The calm before the storm. Lin Feng didn't doubt the Golden Qilin's words at all. He had no reason to lie to him. The deeper they went, the more peculiar Lin Feng felt. The passageway was not as dark as he had imagined. Instead, there was light. The surrounding strange metal was emitting light. Although it wasn't very bright, it covered every corner and was enough to illuminate the entire sealed passageway. Ta-ta! The sound of footsteps echoed. The entire passageway was incomparably spacious, and there was nothing else inside. Lin Feng cautiously moved forward step by step, slowly going deeper. Unknowingly, he had walked for a long time. The path ahead was getting brighter and brighter, and the terrain was getting wider. I'm almost halfway there, Lin Feng muttered. The passageway was filled with a feeling of an impending storm. Lin Feng's hand holding Black Skeleton immediately tightened. In an instant, an indescribable palpitation appeared in his heart. It was very weak. It was like a ripple, but to Lin Feng, who had always been vigilant, he could clearly feel it. Light flashed in his hand and 4 planets appeared. 2 planets were emitting a strange light. This is? Lin Feng's heart was moved, but he didn't have time to think. The strange energy fluctuation suddenly intensified, and the passageway trembled slightly. Not far away, the 2 energies continued to increase. Vaguely, Lin Feng understood. That was because the dark energy had clearly appeared. In this empty passageway, even the slightest energy fluctuation could be felt, let alone the dark energy. Whoosh, whoosh. As the light of 2 planets flashed like fireworks, 2 primordial heavenly demons suddenly appeared in front of him. They were almost the same as the 2 that the Golden Qilin had fought previously, but these 2 were in peak condition. They're here indeed. Lin Feng was already prepared. The peaceful nether holy chi suddenly exploded. The ultimate grade was like a divine weapon, bursting with valiant power. Lin Feng's blade world rapidly covered the area, but the 2 primordial heavenly demons were not restricted at all. Their strength realm was also very strong. Take one first. Lin Feng's fighting spirit was awe-inspiring. In the ice crystal sacred realm, there was no longer any doubt about Lin Feng's strength. Previously, although Lin Feng fought against 2 and killed 2 primordial heavenly demons, it was a ready-made advantage of him. The two primordial heavenly demons that had been severely injured by the golden Qilin were not even comparable to a normal peak condition. But now it was an open battle. Although they are primordial heavenly demons without true consciousness, they are still comparable to a weak elite commander. And there are two of them. A normal ace commander would definitely lose. Previously, Bai Si fought against two alone and lost miserably. Looks like Lin Feng's strength is much stronger than Bai Si's. He should be about the same as the golden Qilin. The 9th seed underestimated him. He should be at least the 7th seed. Everyone was discussing. Shimanzi and the other three were all delighted. So impressive. Brother Lin fought against two alone and killed one of them in such a short time. Yi Xia was jumping with excitement. Brother Lin's blade technique realm is getting stronger and stronger. It's approaching the peak of the first tier. Chueshua said. He has the advantage. He's much stronger than the golden Qilin. Previously, the golden Qilin and Bai Si had fought against two alone. Bai Si was at a disadvantage. Before the golden Qilin bloodline exploded, they were evenly matched. But now Lin Feng fought against two alone and had the advantage. Saint Qi counters each other, Wu Daozi said. Lin Feng's Saint Qi counters the primordial heavenly demons. It has the effect of light energy. It's almost over. Shimanzi smiled and murmured, but why did the golden Qilin and Bai Si meet 4 primordial heavenly demons, and then 5 in the end, but Lin Feng only met 2? Because the golden Qilin and Bai Si are 2 people? Yi Xia said. Maybe. Chueshua nodded. At this time there were cries of surprise. Above the ice crystal, Lin Feng had killed the 2nd primordial heavenly demon with 1 strike. Brother Lin won, Yi Xia said excitedly. Wait. Wu Daozi's expression changed. He pointed at the ice crystal. Look. Everyone's eyes widened. To be continued. Chapter 797. It was a medal. The bronze medal had a sword of glory engraved on it. Under the sword was the head of a demon. It was the symbol of the Glory Alliance, and it was meant to slay demons. Military medal? Lin Feng was also surprised. Although it was the first time he had seen it, he had heard of it. Military medals were given by the Glory Alliance to human experts with outstanding military achievements. It represented glory and status. Military medals were not only a symbol of one's status, but they also had many uses. Among them, the most popular one was to exchange for them. Military medals could be exchanged for treasures in the Glory Treasury. With the Glory Star Ring, one could enter the first 4 levels of the Glory Treasury. During the Battle of Glory Star, Lin Feng had entered to exchange for it. Compared to military medals, the Glory Star Ring was much easier to obtain. One could obtain all kinds of rewards, including exchanging for military achievements. However, the Glory Star Ring could only allow one to enter the 4th level. But military medals were different. Even the worst 3rd-grade military medal could allow one to enter the 3rd level of the Glory Treasury. Lin Feng had entered during the Battle of Glory Star and exchanged for a high-grade Heart of Glory. 2nd-grade military medals allowed one to enter the 4th level of the Glory Treasury. 1st-grade military medals allowed one to enter the 5th level of the Glory Treasury. 3rd-grade military medal. Lin Feng looked at the medal in his hand. In the first round, the first place of the 6 groups would be rewarded with medals. It was promised by the White Ram General. It's over? Lin Feng was startled and shook his head. If it ended now, it meant that only 3 people were left. However, he only had 11 stars. It was impossible for him to be first. Lin Feng's heart moved. A light flashed. At this time, the 2-star star had completely dimmed, as if it had lost its energy. I understand. Lin Feng laughed involuntarily. No wonder when he entered, he felt a strange energy that was inexplicably attracting him. It was the planet's fault. So, it's because of the planet that the primordial heavenly demons appeared. Lin Feng looked ahead and thought, mine is a 2-star star, so 2 primordial heavenly demons appeared. The golden Qilin has a 5-star star, so 5 primordial heavenly demons appeared. That's not right. Then why didn't the golden Qilin obtain any rewards after killing the 5 primordial heavenly demons? Lin Feng muttered. It's because it left the passage. You can't get it? Lin Feng looked at the golden Qilin's 5 stars. It was no different from Bai Si's 3 stars and Huashan's 1 star. They were all in a normal state. Only his star was completely dim. In other words, the 5 stars of the golden Qilin were not used. It could also be because the 5 primordial heavenly demons were not killed by the golden Qilin itself. Lin Feng pondered for a moment but could not come up with an answer. However, it was undeniable that he had profited greatly. Although it was only the lowest 3rd-class military medal, he could still enter the 3rd level of the Glory Treasury and choose a high-grade Heaven-tier Holy Treasure for free. Starting from 1,000 battle merits, one could often reach as high as 4,000, 5,000 battle merit. He continued probing. Lin Feng was naturally daring. To him, the 2 primordial heavenly devils were completely within his acceptable range. If he could continue to obtain military medals, he would have profited greatly. However, this time, he walked to the end, but nothing happened. Is it because my 2-star planet has lost its energy? Lin Feng looked around carefully. Check out all the possible traps that might exist. The only thing he knew was that the faint connection between him and the passageway had disappeared. Clearly, it was because of the 2-star planet. It seems that each participant only has 1 chance. 2-star planet against 2 primordial heavenly demons, 5-star planet against 5, and if it's 10-star planet, I'll probably have to deal with 10. Lin Feng secretly praised his luck. If he were to rank them according to his true strength, he should be ranked 5th or 6th below the golden Qilin. Could be 4 or 5 primordial heavenly demons. It's impossible. Lin Feng knew his strength very well. The number of stars meant that one was strong. The difficulty of the challenge was naturally high. The golden Qilin had Bai Si's help, but it was still outnumbered, let alone him. Here, it was the weak who took advantage. He had encountered 2 primordial heavenly demons. If it were Huashan, he would probably only have to deal with one of them. But if Hong Bao came to challenge him, 10 primordial heavenly demons, and definitely not primordial heavenly demons with ordinary bloodlines, Lin Feng said. The trapezoidal passageway is divided into 2 sections, the front half and the back half. In the middle and at the end, there are 2 places with especially strong energy fluctuations. Lin Feng carefully explored the trapezoidal passageway and concluded, if I'm not wrong, not all participants will trigger a star in the middle. Could also be at the end. The energy fluctuations are not only strong there. The primordial heavenly demon that appears is very strong, and it might be rewarded. It will also be better. Lin Feng looked forward to it. However, he was like a housewife who couldn't cook without rice. There was nothing he could do. The other stars had no fluctuations at all, as if they were asleep. Clearly, to complete the challenge and obtain the reward, the first requirement was to be the person. Only the person would trigger the star effect. If Hong Bao came, he wouldn't be given the same challenge as me. If it was Huashan, he wouldn't be given the chance to deal with 8 or 9 primordial heavenly demons. This was the meaning of being the person. Although I can't get the reward, a 3rd-class military medal is worth the ticket price. Most importantly, Lin Feng stood at the end of the trapezoidal passageway, smiling. I found an excellent place to hide. He would not be affected, but if other experts entered, it would attract the primordial heavenly demon. Safely spend the remaining 18 hours. Lin Feng gently stroked the body of the black skeleton sword. Clang! The black skeleton sword towered. Lin Feng began to practice the sword out of boredom. Ice crystal sacred land. So despicable. Hiding there, whoever comes in will die. The primordial heavenly demon alone is enough to make them suffer. Lin Feng is really cunning. That's because he's smart. Not all contestants are like Hong Bao and Li Zhen, who can search for opponents without any scruples. There are only Hong Bao, Li Zhen, He Yan, and Earth Walker left in Group 1. Which one can Lin Feng win? Everyone was in heated discussion, with both praise and criticism. But no matter how they evaluated, Lin Feng's choice was very wise. What's the ranking of the first group now? Yi Xia asked anxiously. Li Zhen is the highest. After killing Armbreaker, he has 15 stars. Ranked second is Lin Feng. TSK, amazing. Wu Daozi sighed endlessly. Hong Bao and He Yan didn't get any points. They got 10 points and 8 points respectively. Earth Walker killed Jinjiu, so his star score is now 11 points. He is ranked third under Lin Feng. So, Lin Feng only needs to drag it out until the end of the time limit, then he can directly advance? Shi Manzi asked. That's right. Wu Daozi smiled. The current situation is extremely good for Lin Feng. As long as he can hold on until the end of the time limit, it will be a success. Everyone nodded, their eyes full of expectation. Chapter 798. Oh, another one. Li Zhen raised his eyebrows. Sitting cross-legged in the Four Guardians formation, he slowly stood up. Holy Qi energy burst out from his hand, and the Four Guardians formation seemed to be ignited. With a loud rumble, the entire land it encompassed seemed to be clamped by golden hoops. The earth cracked violently and turned into dust. At this time, the Earth Walker who was searching for prey underground was stunned. The entire space was completely bound. The four symbols' great formation covered the area from top to bottom, including the underground. The Earth Walker's face was pale, and the expression in his eyes changed rapidly. He clenched his fist. Damn it, why did I run into him? To the Earth Walker, he would rather meet Hong Bao than Li Zhen. Li Zhen's formation completely restrained him. Fight! With the strong restriction, the Earth Walker was like a turtle in a jar. There was no way out. He could only fight to the end. The ice crystals and holy crystals were in an uproar. What a pity! Yes, the Earth Walker actually had the best location, but he met his nemesis. The Li Zhen outside can only use 30% of his strength. The Li Zhen inside, even Hong Bao would lose a layer of skin if he entered. Even if he used his bloodline power, the Earth Walker would not be able to harm Li Zhen at all. The difference in strength is too great. Everyone felt pity. Indeed, in this small simulated land, the Earth Walker's advantage was obvious. Unfortunately, time was not on his side, and he was eventually eliminated. Even if he enters the second round, he will only be cannon fodder. Wu Daozi said. The rules set by the White Ram Army are most beneficial to the strong. Chueshua said. The Earth Walker lost because he was not strong enough. There are only 4 people left. Yi Xia clenched his fist. Eliminate one more. Shi Manzi smiled. Lin Feng will be able to enter the second round. There is a high chance. Everyone nodded. The Earth Walker's defeat was undoubtedly good news for Lin Feng. Time passed slowly. The fourth group was the fastest to determine the winner. Qin Tianxing defeated 5 people in a row, and used his absolute strength to rule the fourth group. He polished his title as the strongest military lieutenant, and took first place with 38 stars. The other was the second seed, Huang Momo. Qian He's luck was not bad. He killed a participant and advanced with only 5 stars. Next, the third group was also settled. With Ma Yingjie as the leader, the top 3 seeds smoothly advanced without any dark horse appearing. In the blink of an eye, 12 hours had passed, and the top 3 of the 6th group had been decided. Although Yi Shuhang was a reserve member of the Glory Team and had excellent potential and bloodline, the qualification for the Path of Glory depended on combat strength after all. He was unable to advance. At this time, the first group had entered the final climax. The unlucky Hong Bao finally met his third opponent after the Earth Walker and Lin Feng. 3 types of seeds. Black flames. Boom. 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 The earth shook and the sky shook. Hong Bao attacked wildly with the thunder hammer in his hand. His steel body was as strong as a demon's. His powerful attack made He Yin unable to fight back. The netherworld fire Holy Chi was scattered by the thunder hammer. Bang! Black Flame grunted as he was knocked back by the thunderfall hammer. His entire left arm was smashed to smithereens. Faced with Hong Bao's unreasonable attack, He Yin had no way to deal with it. It was too terrifying. He was the first among the elite commanders. This was Hong Bao's terrifying combat strength. It was even comparable to the 3 great trump card commanders. Faced with such an opponent, fear appeared in He Yin's eyes. He gritted his teeth and couldn't care less. His whole body lit up with a red light. He Yin fled frantically. Every elite commander who could survive until now basically had a trump card, especially when it came to escaping. Where are you going? Hong Bao roared angrily. Chi. Clang. In the passage, sword chi condensed. Lin Feng held the black skeleton and was honing his swordsmanship. He benefited a lot from the battle with the Earthwalker, especially the Earthwalker's Earthworld, which was an eye-opener for him. He integrated the power of the Earth into it and matched it with his own bloodline. This level of power was extremely powerful. It's very difficult to integrate the power of the remote Taiyu star. Maybe I can try to integrate one of the heaven and earth energy step by step. But how can I integrate it? Lin Feng had no clue. He kept practicing and attacking, simulating the battle with the Earthwalker, trying to figure out the secrets of the Earthwalker's Earthworld. However, it was like 2 completely different individuals. Although they were at the same level of power, he was at a loss to forcibly integrate them. Phew, it's very difficult. Lin Feng sheathed his sword. The Blade World was a pure sword. It was the evolution of the sword will and was compatible with the heaven and earth energy. There was indeed a possibility. After all, the Earthwalker's Earthworld was still vivid in his mind. However, it's because he has the Earth Bull bloodline. His body is like a part of the Earth. Lin Feng clearly remembered what was written in the information book. Compared to his own understanding of the heaven and earth energy, the Earthwalker was obviously more talented in this aspect. My bloodline talent, Lin Feng frowned. He also had a whirlpool body, but the whirlpool body and the Blade World were even more different individuals. Actually, why do I have to integrate the heaven and earth energy with it? They are all individual energy bodies. How can light, thunder, and darkness compare to the true dragon star? Lin Feng's eyes lit up. His true dragon source point was a true peerless grade. It was already so powerful without integrating a single energy. Most importantly, the true dragon saint power was ethereal and formless. Its compatibility was quite strong. Light, thunder, darkness, and other heaven and earth energy were like physical objects. However, the saint power was formless. It was like a person's mind and spiritual power. Moreover, the power level is a kind of force. World of blade, world of sword, world of earth, and so on. They are all a form of pressure and mental restraint. They are actually very similar to the power of saint energy. If I can integrate the true dragon saint power with the blade world, its power will definitely surpass the Earthwalker's Earthworld. That's it. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. The more he thought about it, the more excited he became. Black Ting rose again and the black dragon soared into the sky. Bang! His footsteps were as heavy as 1,000 pounds. What the hell is this place? Hong Bao held a giant hammer and entered the passage with a puzzled expression. Black Flame, you bastard, get out here! Cowardly bandit, humph! Hong Bao's voice thundered. With disdain in his eyes, Hong Bao walked forward proudly with his giant hammer mixed with thunder and lightning. The passage ahead was getting wider and wider. However, he did not see Black Flame. Hong Bao hid his anger and searched everywhere. Come out, Black Flame. You coward, fight me face to face if you have the guts. I'll beat your ass until it blossoms. Hong Bao shouted and walked forward. The further in they went, the more they felt a huge wave of energy coming from the front. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Primordial heavenly demons appeared out of thin air and blocked Hong Bao, roaring ferociously. Chapter 799. Idiot! You only have strength but no brains. He Yen sneered. At this moment, his body seemed to be burning as it strangely split into three. The three black fire shadows were very similar to He Yen. As they overlapped, they merged back into one. He Yen was wearing a black flame armor. His angular face was like that of a male lion. He revealed a disdainful expression. Every danger zone has a natural barrier. No matter how strong you are, Hong Bao, you will not be able to come out. He Yan's figure flashed and left. At this moment, the battle in the tunnel was very intense. Hong Bao was not at a disadvantage at all when fighting 1 against 6. His enlarged body was like an ancient beast. His blood vessels were bulging like a monster. His thunder mist hammer was mixed with the power of thunder and lightning. He was like a thunder god descending to the mortal world. His eyes were filled with fighting spirit. The 6 primordial sky demons were different from the 2 that Lin Feng was fighting. Just like Nirvana realm cultivators, there was a big difference between an elite soldier and an ace soldier. Even though they were covered in wounds from Hong Bao's attacks, and some were even badly mutilated, they still attacked crazily as if they did not know pain. They would not stop until they were dead. At this moment, shwa, shwa, another 2 rays of light gathered. In the blink of an eye, the 7th and 8th primordial sky demons appeared. Instantly, 2 weights were added to the originally stable balance. 2 peak primordial sky demons appeared and changed the direction of the battle. Damn it! Hong Bao's bloodline power was completely unleashed. Damn demons, I will fight it out with you! Bathed in blood, Hong Bao used all his power. However, 1 against 8, even for the 3 ace commanders, it was not an easy task. These primeval heavenly demons did not have consciousness, but their physical bodies and bloodline were very strong. They did not fear death and continued to charge forward. They had the absolute advantage in numbers. Pung, pung. Hong Bao suffered one setback after another as more wounds appeared on his body. Hong Bao's body trembled as he roared towards the sky. The thunder mist hammer was fully unleashed. He was hysterical. However, this was like an arrow at the end of its flight. It was only delaying the time of defeat. The most terrifying thing was that 8 primordial sky demons was not the final number. There was still more. The 9th and 10th. Hong Bao's blood vessels were everywhere. His eyes were wide open like lanterns. Although he had always been full of confidence, he knew that the current situation had reached a point where there was only a slim chance of survival. There were a total of 10 primordial heavenly demons, and each of them was as powerful as an elite commander. I'm Hong Bao. Glory's strongest elite army commander can't even pass the first round? Hong Bao trembled. It was an unprecedented crisis. If he lost in the first round, he would become a joke. But now, clang. An unfamiliar yet powerful force broke the silence. The frighteningly sharp saber move brought with it a strong binding pressure. There seemed to be a golden dragon roaring in the void, sweeping away the 2 newly appeared primordial heavenly demons like a tornado. Not only that, it also affected the other 8 primordial heavenly demons that were attacking him. This is? Hong Bao defended against the next joint attack. His eyes were wide open and filled with disbelief as he looked into the distance. It's him. How could it be him? Don't be in a daze, Lord Hong. Lin Feng slashed down with his saber. Lin Feng's laughter was accompanied by the rumbling of the saber world. His true dragon holy power was added to the saber world. At this moment, the saber world had an additional layer of solid color. The golden color reflected the shape of a dragon. Lin Feng's saber rose into the air and slashed down instantly. Its power was overwhelming and boundless. Good. Hong Bao's fighting spirit was also aroused. Lin Feng's reinforcement and his impressive fighting strength made Hong Bao want to live again. With a loud roar, his body expanded once again. Hong Bao was also fighting with his life on the line. If he gave it his all, even if he couldn't win, he wouldn't die in such a cowardly manner. Kill one, earn one. Hong Bao's veins were bulging, but he was still laughing maniacally. Hong Bao and the primordial heavenly demons were fighting fiercely. How could Lin Feng not be alarmed? However, he was just watching from the sidelines and didn't interfere. He saw that Hong Bao was gradually losing. Just as he predicted, Hong Bao, who controlled 10 planets, was facing the toughest test. The encirclement of 10 primordial heavenly demons. Not saving him was righteous. Saving him, benevolence. In the end, Lin Feng still made a move because he still owed Hong Bao in his heart. The new saber world is very strong. Lin Feng used it in actual combat for the first time and felt the power of the new saber world. Although the true dragon holy power was still unable to merge with the saber world, they were compatible with each other, just like the normal fusion of source points. Even now, it was not inferior to the Earthwalker's Earth world. Actual combat is the best comprehension. Lin Feng raised his saber and slashed down, facing 2 primordial heavenly demons. These 2 were much stronger than the 2 he had dealt with before, but with the new saber world, Lin Feng still had the absolute initiative. Attack! Attack again! Comprehending through the continuous attacks, Lin Feng broke in the new saber world. Oh? Another one! Li Zhen, who was sitting cross-legged on the ground, suddenly raised his eyebrows. He slowly stood up and his eyes flashed. Li Zhen's slightly white hair moved with the wind. He raised his hand and activated the array. The roars of the 4 elephants surrounded the sky, and the entire area shook. At this time, He Yen, who was not far away, was pale and panicked. He had just felt the existence of Li Zhen, but it was too late. Like a prey that had fallen into a hunter's trap, he had just left the tiger's den and entered the wolf's mouth. Li Zhen! He Yen was hysterical, and his black flames lit up the sky. I'm not done with you. At this time, Hong Bao was on the verge of death. Although Lin Feng had taken away 2 of the primordial heavenly demons, the remaining 8 were not to be trifled with. They kept attacking and injuring Hong Bao. It was difficult for 2 fists to fight against 4 hands, not to mention 8 hands. There was only an opportunity when there was danger. The White Ram army had set a high reward. How could it be so easy to pass? Only Lin Feng could break through, but he would only get a 3rd-class military merit medal. But if Hong Bao could personally defeat 10 primordial heavenly demons, then he would get a 1st-class military merit medal. Unfortunately, Hong Bao's strength was still 1 level lower. Peng! Lin Feng's blade world rose again, and the golden dragon roared in the staircase tunnel. Every time they clashed, Lin Feng's blade world was improving. The true dragon Saint Chi was slowly merging with the blade world. The whirlpool circulated, and the huge beast in the depths of his body seemed to be slowly opening its eyes. Lin Feng gradually gained the upper hand. But at this time, Hong Bao was already on the verge of collapse. He only defended and did not attack, entering a completely defensive state. Just as he was about to be torn into pieces by the primordial heavenly demons, suddenly, one by one, the primordial heavenly demons turned into nothingness. The heavily injured Hong Bao was confused and did not know what had happened. Lin Feng also woke up from his battle state. He looked in front of him and saw that there was not a single primordial heavenly demon around Hong Bao. Suddenly, Lin Feng understood everything and smiled. He had finally advanced. Chapter 800. Ice Crystal Sacred Realm. Yay, that's great! Yi Xia jumped up excitedly. Brother Lin really likes to meddle in other people's business. He even saved Hong Bao. Wu Daozi shook his head. Shimanzi smiled charmingly. Because he doesn't like to owe people favors. Wu Daozi said, fortunately, if the other primordial sky demons rushed to him, Brother Lin might be eliminated. Even so, Brother Lin won't regret it. Blowing Snow said affirmatively. If he cares about gains and losses, he won't be Lin Feng. Shimanzi smiled charmingly. She knew Lin Feng too well. Helping Yixia helped her. Lin Feng didn't ask for anything in return. He just wanted to do things with a clear conscience. Looking at the figure on the ice crystal, Shimanzi's beautiful eyes were full of gentleness. Lin Feng has advanced. Light Man nodded in satisfaction. It was an unexpected result. Although he had a high opinion of Lin Feng, Light Man didn't think that Lin Feng could enter the second round. But now, the truth was in front of him. He was lucky. Mengming's red lips curled up. If Li Zhen had acted a little later, Lin Feng and Hong Bao might have died at the hands of the primordial sky demons. There was still some unwillingness in her voice, but it was like a child's fighting spirit. Light Man couldn't help but smile. Captain. Mengming suddenly blushed. Light Man looked at Mengming. He will soon become a member of our first glory team. You are the vice-captain, do you know? I know. Mengming pouted. Light Man nodded and then looked at Goddess Wakaman. What do you think? He is improving very quickly, Goddess Wakaman said softly. Light Man smiled. You and Mengmeng will both participate in the second round of the qualifiers. It is very likely that you will meet Lin Feng. Humph. Mengmeng was very pleased. She rubbed her hands together as if she couldn't wait to meet Lin Feng. I hope we don't meet. Goddess Wakaman looked at the ice crystal with an indescribable emotion. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Li Zhen, Lin Feng, and Hong Bao suddenly appeared. There were already many familiar figures in the surroundings. Ao Lai, Yi Shuheng, Ling Yuqing, and the Golden Qilin. By C. Lin Feng glanced over and smiled. There was no doubt that he had been forcibly sent out of the divine ruins. The first group, Li Zhen, 34 points. Lin Feng, 11 points, Hong Bao, 10 points, advanced. The chief of the White Ram Legion was expressionless. Pa. A third-class military medal was thrown out. Li Zhen raised his hand and accepted it. Thank you, Commander. The chief of the White Ram Army nodded his head disapprovingly. His gaze swept over and landed on Lin Feng. You've gained an advantage. Lin Feng smiled. Naturally, he understood what the White Ram military lord meant. What he meant was that his ranking should be higher, perhaps 4 or 5 stars. That way, when he entered that mysterious passageway to undergo the trial, the primordial heavenly devil he would have to face would be even stronger. Li Zhen had obtained 34 points and only received a third-class military medal. As for himself, he had only killed 2 primordial heavenly devils and received the same treatment. Thank you, Commander. Lin Feng did not believe that the medal could appear out of thin air. Clearly, the White Ram military lord had given it to him in a different way. Hong Bao was confused and did not understand. Li Zhen looked over thoughtfully. However, the White Ram military lord did not say anything else. Advancing in the first round did not mean anything. Every year, there would always be a few dark horses in the path of glory. It might be due to luck or miscalculation like Lin Feng. Also, Lin Feng was not the first to advance as a soldier. Humph. Ao Lai, who was not far away, looked disdainfully. The dragon mark on his neck was clear and ferocious. Lin Feng felt Ao Lai's fiery gaze but did not turn around. He had to be wary of Ao Lai. He might be from the Ao clan and might be unfavorable to him. Soon, the first round of the Path of Glory ended. It took a total of 15 hours. None of the groups lasted until the time limit was up. After all, the 6 simulated danger zones were about the same size. It was actually very fast to determine the remaining 3 in such a narrow area. There were basically no dark horses. Most of the people in each group advanced to the next round. There were only 3 people from the 6th to the 10th seed. Qian He, Ao Lai and Lin Feng. No one in the first group got more than 40 points. The highest was Qin Tianxing in the 4th group with 38 points. Li Zhen's 36 points was the same as Ji Zhishuan in the 2nd group. You all disappoint me. The White Ram military lord's eyes were like an eagle's, cold and empty. None of you got a 2nd-class medal. Go back and prepare. Gather at the same place on the 1st day of September. The 2nd round will not be easy. After speaking, his gaze paused on Lin Feng. The White Ram military lord disappeared like smoke. The 18 people who advanced had serious expressions and clenched their fists secretly. The 2nd round. There was still 1 month left. Everyone quickly dispersed. Lin Feng and Yi Shuheng walked together, but they had already made an agreement beforehand. Congratulations to Brother Lin for advancing. Yi Shuheng waved the feather fan in his hand. Brother Yi seems very happy. Lin Feng laughed involuntarily. Yi Shuheng seemed happier than him. Those who didn't know would think that he was the one who advanced. Of course. Yi Shuheng said. We are on the same side. I believe that Lord Lightman is also very happy. Including you, Lin Feng, 3 people from the first glory team can participate in the 2nd round. Our chances of entering the 3rd round have greatly increased. Lin Feng nodded. In the 2nd round, the 2 glory teams needed to participate except for the captains. The first glory team had 2 people, Vice Captain Meng Meng and Goddess Wakaman. The 2nd glory team had 5 people, Vice Captain Giant Kuei and members Chuan Xinho, Yu Gui, Black Impermanence and Goshin Zhu. A total of 7 people. Including the 18 in the first round, 5 people would compete for the right to advance in the 3rd round. I wonder what the 2nd round will be like. Lin Feng was very curious. It will definitely be different from the previous rounds. Yi Shuheng said, last year it was a battle royale, and the year before that it was a group challenge. Yiwu Junzhu doesn't care about the competition for the right to enter the path of glory. He usually arranges it casually. According to him, those with strength won't be eliminated no matter what. Lin Feng laughed involuntarily. That makes sense. Yi Shuheng shrugged. It's a pity that every year, our Glory 7 Alliance will be defeated in the 12 Alliance showdown. Lin Feng nodded. That's why the White Ram Army is hosting this year. The White Ram Army is more meticulous, and there are rewards. This is quite good, Yi Shuheng said. Yi Shuheng said, perhaps the White Ram Army's commander doesn't care about 3rd and 2nd class medals, but to us, they are good things that can increase our combat strength. Yes. Lin Feng agreed. His 3rd class medal could be exchanged for a high-grade Heaven-tier holy treasure in the Glory Treasury. It was enough to make up for his weakness. This way please, Brother Lin. I believe the captain is already waiting for us. Yi Shuheng smiled. The captain will be very happy to see you promoted. With the captain's guidance, Brother Lin, it's very likely that you will comprehend the perfect profound meaning, holy light, before the 2nd round begins. Thank you for your kind words. Lin Feng smiled. Chapter 801. Glory's First Team's Base. Captain! Yi Shuheng shouted valiantly. Lin Feng and Yi Shuheng walked side by side as they surveyed the surroundings of the base. The area was quite large, and everything was available. Glory members didn't have individual accommodations, so they were divided into teams. Even Ao Lai and Yi Shuheng, the 2 reserve members, had clear accommodations. Glory's 2nd team's base was directly opposite. It seemed to be done on purpose to make the 2 teams compete with each other. Only with competition can there be improvement. Lin Feng understood. He followed Yi Shuheng into the hall. The decorations weren't extravagant. It was simple and clean, without a speck of dust. At the end of the hall there were 3 figures, 1 male and 1 female, in the main seat. It was Captain Lightman and Vice Captain Meng Meng. Lin Feng hadn't seen Meng Meng before, but he had heard Yi Shuheng mention her. She was petite, had neat bangs, and a face that seemed to have been sculpted. It explained another kind of female beauty. And the back of the guest seat was very familiar. Swish. Following Yi Shuheng's shout, the three couldn't help but look over. That back turned his head halfway. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. No wonder he was so familiar. He had seen him in the first round of the Glory Road qualification competition. Qin Tianxing. He had the highest number of stars in the first round, and his strength was comparable to the strongest commander in the elite army. Azure Dragon's captain, with a combat strength of 7,780 points, very close to the 8,000 points needed to enter Glory's team. Why was he here? A question mark appeared in Lin Feng's mind, just like the question in Qin Tianxing's mind. Qin Tianxing also paid attention to Lin Feng. After all, Lin Feng had passed the first round of selection as an ace soldier, which was quite rare in the history of ace armies. It's Lin Feng. Light Man stood up with a smile. Meng Meng glanced over, curiously sizing up Lin Feng. Sir Light Man, Vice Captain Meng Meng, Sir Qin. Lin Feng bowed politely. The Glory Alliance was like an army, with strict distinctions between superiors and subordinate. Come, make yourself at home. Lin Feng, take a seat. Light Man was very enthusiastic. His gaze fell on Qin Tianxing as he nodded. I understand what you mean. I will discuss it with the other members. If there is a decision, I will inform you. Qin Tianxing immediately stood up. Okay. Lord Guangnan, I'll go back first and wait for your good news. Even though Qin Tianxing was one of the best in the Ace Army, he didn't dare show any disrespect to Light Guy, a super expert from one of the 7 alliances. Light Man nodded and Qin Tianxing left. His gaze lingered on Lin Feng for a moment, somewhat doubtful and somewhat fearful. Soon, there were only 4 people left in the hall. Light Man smiled at Lin Feng. I haven't congratulated you yet. You did well, Lin Feng. Thank you for your praise. Lin Feng said, Lord Qin's performance is far better than mine. No, you're different from him. Light Man shook his head. It's natural for him to perform well. It's natural for him to pass the first round. With Qin Tianxing's strength, there's an 80% chance of him entering the third round. Lin Feng nodded. Qin Tianxing's strength was obvious to all. Light Man's eyes flashed. Do you still remember the special recruitment slot I mentioned to you last time? Lin Feng nodded. Lord Qin came for that? Yes. Light Man's gaze fell outside the hall. Qin Tianxing is indeed an outstanding talent. His combat strength is quite strong. I don't mind telling you that he came here this time to ask for the only special recruitment quota. The special recruitment quota could directly allow any military officer to enter the Glory Squad. For the Ace Army and the Elite Army, it was incomparably precious. It was like a carp leaping over the Dragon's Gate. Lord Qin's battle strength points are 7780. It's not far from 8000. Lin Feng was astonished. A mere 0 points shouldn't be hard to reach with a bit of effort. Brother Lin, you're wrong. Yi Shuheng shook his finger. Qin Tianxing is already at the 9th level of the Ascended Saint stage. His bloodline has awakened a second time. In other words, his battle strength points have already reached the peak of 2 categories. It seems like there's only a difference of 0 points, but in any one of those categories, it's 5 times 1,100 points. Qin Tianxing's potential has already reached its peak. There might be a way to increase it by 100 points, but to increase it by 1,100 points, the possibility is no more than 5%. Lin Feng understood. Yi Shuheng was right. The higher the battle strength points, the harder it was to increase them. For example, in the refining heart realm, entering the last 6 paths of reincarnation, every path was a huge breakthrough in the heart. For example, in the profound meaning realm, Qin Tianxing had already grasped the perfect profound meaning. If he wanted to go one step further, he would need to obtain the recognition of the energy source. That was the key to the grand nirvana. Not everyone was as talented as Light Man. In the Ascended Saint stage, one would obtain the recognition of the energy source. In the entire Glory's 7 alliances, Light Man was the only one. Even if you looked through the history of the 7 alliances, it was rare. In fact, most warriors couldn't even comprehend the perfect profound meaning when they were in the Ascended Saint stage. The only thing that Qin Tianxing could easily improve was his strongest attack. However, to increase it by 1100 points was too difficult. Actually, I did consider Qin Tianxing for this special recruitment quota, Lightman said. But after seeing you, I changed my mind. With your potential, Lin Feng, you can definitely increase your battle strength points to 8,000 points in half a year. Sir, you flatter me, Lin Feng said. The last time they met, Time Man had already mentioned that he shouldn't use the special recruitment quota as much as possible to avoid being ridiculed. You really don't want to consider Qin Tianxing? Mengming's voice was very pleasant, crisp and soft. Light Man's eyes were bright. As long as he can pass the 3rd round of the Path of Glory qualification battle, the special recruitment quota will be given to him. Difficult. Mengming pursed her lips and muttered. Light Man didn't answer and looked at Lin Feng. I won't be biased. Lin Feng, you don't need the special recruitment quota, so I'll give you an extra reward. If you join the Glory team, you'll be given 10,000 points and a 3rd-class military medal. If you can reach 8,000 points in 4 months or pass the 3rd round of the Path of Glory qualification battle, you'll be given 30,000 points and a 2nd-class military medal. And if you can reach 8,000 combat power points within 2 months, or if you can advance to the Path of Glory's 12 alliances, you'll be given 100,000 points and a 1st-class military medal. Ace Corps territory. Captain, Lin Feng doesn't put us in his eyes at all. Huoshan was furious. He doesn't care about his comrades and wants to kill us all. It's useless even if I tell him your name. Today, he can attack me. Captain, you won't be able to suppress this fiend in the future. I know. Qian he gritted his teeth. He wasn't stupid. From the beginning, Lin Feng had never been nice to him. Captain? When did Lin Feng treat him as a captain? We can't let him go like this anymore, Captain. Huoshan's eyes were about to crack. It's time to teach him a lesson. Qian He's eyes were cold and his fingers were cracking. Taking advantage of the situation and then burning the bridge after crossing the river, it's not that easy. Let me teach him what it means to oppress people to death. Chapter 802. Territory 111. Not here. Qian He frowned. Huoshan was also shocked. Yes, masters. Butler Gongsun Wen did his duty. Huoshan was displeased. I advise you to tell the truth. The crime of lying can be big or small. In front of you is the leader of the Kuei squad, Master Qian He. Even your master has to be respectful. Go inside and tell Lin Feng, hiding is useless. I don't care about lying to you masters, Butler Gongsun Wen said. Huoshan wanted to say more, but Qian He raised his hand and interrupted. Let me ask you, where did Lin Feng go? This. Butler Gongsun Wen hesitated. As a butler, he could not casually reveal his master's whereabouts. Qian He snorted. The pressure of a Saint Force cultivator made Gongsun Wen's face pale, his body trembling and sweating profusely. I'll ask you again, is Lin Feng here? Qian He's eyes were cold. Bang! Gongsun Wen was unable to endure the pressure any longer, and he knelt on the ground while supporting himself with his hands. He was already completely exhausted and powerless. Even then, he was still unwilling to speak a single word because it was difficult to imagine that such a thin figure possessed such great strength. Pay! Huoshan's eyes were filled with disdain, like master like dog. Clap! 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 There was a clap, and Qian He turned his head to look. Shimanzi, Wu Daozi, Yixia, and Cui Shui were walking over, and the one who clapped was Yixia. His eyes shone brightly as he laughed. Well said, Senior Qian, he really raised a good dog. Ah! Huashan was stunned, then reacted. He was furious. What did you say? Isn't this Vice Leader Hua? Sorry, I didn't see you just now. We were just talking about Master Qian, he raising a good dog. Why did you jump out? Yi Xia was surprised. This made Huashan's face turn red. He was trembling in anger. Qian he raised his hand to stop Huashan and smiled at Yi Xia. I haven't seen you for a few days. Brother Yi has become so eloquent as expected. People are in high spirits when it comes to happy events. It must be you and Zixian, stuck together like glue. His smiling expression seemed harmless, but it directly attacked Yi Xia's heart. In an instant Yi Xia's face turned green. Huashan chuckled and said, Speaking of which, I lost a pair of broken shoes a few days ago. What's interesting is, someone actually picked it up and wore it. TSK. Huashan. Yi Xia gnashed his teeth. Don't be impulsive. Shimanzi's gentle voice was like a gust of spring breeze. Flowers could prick people, but they could also save people. In terms of cultivation of saint energy, Qian He and Yi Xia were naturally the strongest. However, in terms of understanding of the heart, Shimanzi, who had already mastered the art of seduction, was the strongest. Whoosh! Yi Xia abruptly sobered up and felt extremely ashamed. I'm sorry, Sister Manzi. Qian He's expression was somewhat ugly. He had originally wanted to give Yi Xia a show of strength. Taking action within the Glory Alliance without permission was a serious crime. However, he did not want to be interrupted by Shimanzi. However, looking at the beautiful face that he yearned for day and night, Qian He was unable to express his anger. He forced a smile and said, Manzi? Shimanzi's red dress fluttered as she lifted the housekeeper Gongsun one up. I wonder why Sir Qian He is looking for Lin Feng so urgently? This. Qian He was somewhat speechless. Huashan raised his eyebrows. He hastily said, Our Kuei squad has a mission to carry out. You irrelevant people don't need to ask so much. Lin Feng is a member of the Kuei squad and should be under the captain's jurisdiction. We are looking for him because the squad needs to gather and carry out the mission. Yes, that's right. Qian He agreed. That's really unfortunate. Shimanzi smiled. As soon as the Path of Glory competition ended, Lin Feng was called by Sir Guangnan. Sir Guangnan? Qian He and Huashan were startled. Shimanzi nodded. If you want him, you can go directly to Lord Guangnan and ask for him. There's no need to make a ruckus here. Her calm voice caused Qian He and Huashan's faces to turn red as they cursed in their hearts. Ask Sir Guangnan for him? Other than the 3 ace commanders, who would have the guts? This. Qian He looked at Huashan. The latter was also frowning, obviously unable to do anything. Then when will Lin Feng return? Huashan braced himself and asked. Shimanzi smiled charmingly. Ask Sir Guangnan. Shua. Huashan's face was ashen, his mouth twitching. Haha, a misunderstanding, a misunderstanding. Qian He was an old fox after all. His reaction was quick. Brother Lin Feng being summoned by Sir Guangnan is truly a blessing. If we had known earlier, we wouldn't have made such a joke and wasted our trip. Shimanzi revealed a smile. Since that's the case, we'll come find Lin Feng another day. Qian He nodded to everyone. We'll take our leave first. Saying so, Qian He turned and left, the smile on his face turning into a vicious one. Let's see how long you can hide from Guangnan, Lin Feng. The first Glory Squad's camp. Watch carefully, I'll slow down and cast it again, Guangnan said with a serious expression. Guangnan was surrounded by a large sealed space. As his voice fell, Guangnan suddenly shouted, a drop of light appearing on his forehead like a drop of water, his divine power instantly exploding. Pung! 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 An incomparably divine aura instantly filled the air. Lin Feng focused, not daring to miss a single detail as he stared at Guangnan, absorbing it like a sponge. Light source. In order to help him gain a deeper understanding, Guang Nan not only used the profound meaning's divine light, he also used the next level of energy, not holding back at all. Just as Yi Shuhang had said, Guang Nan was a very competent captain. This is light. Turn yourself into light. Light source, dominating the divine light's divine power. Not only is it a great counter to darkness, but it can also increase the power of profound meaning from 1 to 100. With and without the energy source, the power of profound meaning is vastly different. Lin Feng had a deep impression of it. Guang Nan's speed was not fast, but he knew all the secrets of the divine light. The current Guang Nan's understanding of the divine light was much more thorough than 3 years ago. Like a teacher carefully teaching, Lin Feng quickly comprehended. Every movement of Guang Nan appeared in his mind, and he combined them in his mind. Divine light, the key is the word divine. This is the true essence of the divine light. The nemesis of darkness, the nemesis of the devil race. Divine light does not focus on external power, but on the cultivation of the mind. Lord Guang Nan's casting is from the inside out, it is indefinite and formless. It looks like an ordinary perfect profound meaning, but it makes it easier for the light source to display its power. This is the divine light. Lin Feng quickly sank into deep thought. No matter how long he looked at the divine light steal, it could not compare to a face-to-face demonstration. Guang Nan did not speak, but it was enough, because Lin Feng had an epiphany. This is all I can help you with. Guang Nan looked at Lin Feng. The rest will depend on your comprehension. Chapter 803. The Power of the Heart. The true essence of light, this is the divine light, the darkness that destroys everything. Lin Feng did have an epiphany, but he did not advance in the direction that Light Man thought. The insights recorded by Wei Fu on the divine light stone tablet described his understanding of the path of light. Light Man directly used the power of the origin of light. Once was a direct exchange, and the other time was a face-to-face demonstration. For Lin Feng, it was like opening a door that led to the origin of light. Whether it's the top profound meaning, the perfect profound meaning, or even the fused profound meaning, they all have the origin of light as the center. Without light, there is no profound meaning of light. The reason why the divine light directly leads to the origin of light lies in this. There were only 2 images in Lin Feng's mind. One was the divine light stone tablet. All the information kept appearing like strings of code, overlapping and matching. It contained deep secret. The other was the image of Light Man fighting with him. It kept replaying like a movie, looping over and over again. The origin of light and divine light fused together perfectly. A droplet-like radiance appeared on Light Man's forehead, gathering endless essence into his body. It was the existence of light, the true essence of light, the purest source of energy, the most fundamental power of light. Lin Feng was completely immersed in the world of light. The first round of the Path of Glory qualification battle ended. Some were happy, some were sad. As the most important event of the Glory Alliance, this was the best platform to measure the strength of each Glory soldier. The elite commanders who entered the second round were all eager to fight. They were about to face the challenges of 7 Glory members to enter the third round. It was very difficult. Only the strongest 10 people would advance from 25 to 10. Only then could they enter the third round. I must enter the third round and advance to the competition of the 12 alliances. Qin Tianxing's eyes were full of pride. He was desperately training himself in the training field. After receiving Light Man's reply, his fighting spirit was high. His initial fear of Lin Feng's sudden appearance turned into a strong fighting spirit. His fate was in his own hands. No matter who my opponent is, I will win. I will win. Qin Tianxing's saber was like a fierce tiger descending the mountain. The wind howled, proud as the sky. Half a month passed in the blink of an eye. There was only half a month left until the second round of the competition on the 1st of September. In such a short period of time, there wouldn't be any major breakthroughs for those elite commanders. However, Li Zhen and the others, who were ranked first and had received third-class military medals, had made some small improvements. Third-class military medal. They would be able to enter the glory treasury and choose a suitable high-grade heaven-tier treasure. It was a little difficult to increase his combat strength, but it was good to make up for his weaknesses. Li Zhen chose an attack-type holy treasure to support the formation. Great Wisdom King chose a control-type holy treasure to support the attack. Ma Yingjie chose a holy fruit that could directly increase one's battle strength. Basically, no one left behind a third-class military merit medal. They all turned it into an increase in battle strength. Because they knew very well that so long as they were able to obtain victory in the second round, then it was very likely that the White Ram Army's commander would obtain even better rewards. At the same time, the 7 members of the Glory Squad were also preparing in full swing. Unlike those elite commanders, the members of the Glory Squad were in the Saint Ascension stage. Even if it was only for a month, his strength would increase slightly. After all, they were the ones with the most potential in Glory's 7 major guilds. First Glory Team's base. Why don't I see him? Light Man looked at Goddess Wakaman. Goddess Wakaman's eyelashes moved imperceptibly. It's nothing, Lin Feng and I are just friends in the first place. It doesn't matter if I see him or not. Light Man smiled slightly, his eyes seemed to be able to see through everything. Actually, you don't need to feel guilty. That day, Lin Feng gave you the championship of the Battle of Glory. He naturally had his own intentions. Moreover, he isn't a jealous person. He won't be concerned about such a small matter, or even regret it. Goddess Wakaman's pure and holy face suddenly flushed red, but Light Man had hit the nail on the head. The reason why she didn't dare to see Lin Feng. Because of this, because she felt that she had taken advantage of Lin Feng. Like that day, Lin Feng didn't give up the championship of the Battle of Glory, and today, he joined Team Glory. Entering the path of glory, the one whose strength reached the 7th level of the Sage stage was Lin Feng, not her. Actually, Light Man paused. I don't think you're walking much faster than Lin Feng now. Goddess Wakaman was slightly surprised. Light Man's eyes were bright. Lin Feng entering the path of glory is something that will happen sooner or later. The effect of entering later is actually better. The best time to enter the elementary path of glory is the upper level of the Nirvana stage. The best time to enter the intermediate path of glory is the upper level of the Sage stage, and the best time to enter the advanced path of glory is the upper level of the Nirvana stage. Moreover, the total time to enter the 3 paths of glory cannot exceed 6 months. Goddess Wakaman nodded. The reward of the Battle of Glory was 2 months of elementary path of glory, which she had already used. Moreover, Lin Feng's comprehension of the profound meaning of light is quite good. I believe that he will be able to comprehend the divine light within a month. Light Man looked at Goddess Wakaman. At that time, in terms of profound meaning cultivation, you and he will both be at the perfect profound meaning level. Everyone will be at the same starting point. Who will be recognized by the origin of light first? Light Man smiled. It's still unknown. Goddess Wakaman's beautiful eyes flashed. How could Light Man not know Goddess Wakaman's personality? I know that you have the confidence to be recognized by the origin of light in the Sage stage, but Lin Feng's comprehension of the divine light profound meaning is closer to the true meaning of light. As long as his comprehension is deep enough, his speed of being recognized by the origin of light may not be faster than yours. Suddenly, Shwa! Light Man was startled. His pupils dilated in an instant, and the droplet of light on his forehead flashed, as if jumping for joy. On the other side, Goddess Wakaman also seemed to have sensed something. Her beautiful eyebrows furrowed slightly, but she didn't know what had happened. She just looked at Light Man with confusion in her beautiful eyes. Impossible! Light Man whispered. How is it possible? How is it possible? Light Man kept repeating this sentence, as if he was petrified. Suddenly, his figure flashed and disappeared from the hall. Goddess Wakamin pursed her cherry lips and followed. In a sealed cultivation room, Lin Feng sat cross-legged, his whole body wrapped in endless brilliance, as if he was a holy Buddha. Endless light elements surrounded Lin Feng, as if all the light in the surroundings were condensed. The brilliance on Lin Feng's forehead was the brightest. Specks of light gathered like fireflies, as if they were the source of light. Whoosh whoosh, the specks of light continued to condense, and a light mark like Light Man's gradually appeared on Lin Feng's forehead. This strange phenomenon was shocking. So, this is the true meaning of light. The corners of Lin Feng's mouth curled up slightly. His eyes suddenly lit up, and thousands of rays of light condensed into a single point. The divine light seemed to be swallowed in an instant, and the endless specks of light around him converged into the light mark on his forehead. It was incomparably dazzling. The speed of light became faster and faster, and the light mark became brighter and brighter. But all the light was absorbed into it. Chapter 804. Outside the training room. Want it? Light Man stood upright and looked at the door of the training room with a complicated look. With his strength, he could sense it even from the hall, let alone just one door away. Half a step behind him was Goddess Wakamin. He said in surprise, "What a strong light energy!" "It's the light heart," Light Man said. Goddess Wakamin's beautiful eyes moved. "Which commander has been recognized by the light origin?" As soon as she said that, Goddess Wakamin felt that something was wrong. She frowned. "This is the base of our first team. Sister Mengmeng is a holy power cultivator, and Huang has not cultivated the light origin." Looking at Light Man, Goddess Wakamin said softly, "Captain, inside." "It's him," Light Man said. "Him?" Goddess Wakamin did not know that Lin Feng was in the training room. A pair of beautiful eyes stared at the sealed door of the training room, flashing with envy and admiration. Only those who had obtained the approval of the light source would be granted the heart of light. It was like the heart of light, the lifeline, and had absolute control over the energy of light. Even if she had the 1-in-a-million bloodline of Aurora, cultivated Aurora, reached the peak of the week at the age of 18, and reached the 7th level of the Sage Realm at the age of 19, she still could not be recognized by the light origin and form the light heart. It was difficult. Even if one comprehended the perfect light profound meaning, it did not mean that one could be recognized by the light origin. This was a kind of realm that could only be understood when one stepped into it. There were only 3 ways to gain the recognition of the origin. One was to increase one's strength level and enhance one's sensitivity to the energy of heaven and earth. Especially after the nirvana stage, warriors who were recognized by the origin gradually began to appear, but the proportion was still not high. Gaining the recognition of the origin was the most difficult barrier to cross in the nirvana stage. If one was recognized by the origin in the sage realm, he would be a 1-in-a-million genius, a truly talented person. 2 was to comprehend the perfect profound meaning. The more one comprehended, the easier it would be to gain the recognition of the light origin. 3rd, opportunities could be encountered but not sought. It could be a holy land for cultivation, or a heaven-defying holy fruit, etc. There were even legends where the heart of origin was directly condensed after the bloodline awakening. I didn't expect this. I really didn't expect this. Light Man's eyes were filled with disbelief. Goddess Wakamin pursed her lips and did not ask any more questions. There are as many warriors who have comprehended the divine light as there are stars in the sky. However, those who can truly condense the light heart are only a few times more than those who have comprehended the profound meaning of light. The probability is still not high. Light Man's voice echoed in Goddess Wakamin's ears. For some reason, her heart trembled. Divine light? To think that I was so proud of my peerless talent. My bloodline awakened a second time at the Saint Ascension stage and was acknowledged by the origin energy. Light Man sighed. The Glory Alliance is indeed full of talents. 2 years ago, Xinling awakened her legendary bloodline and directly formed the Wind Heart. A year ago, the little monster of the Glory Alliance's 11 Alliance became the champion of the Road of Glory at the age of O. And now, he hasn't even reached the Saint Ascension stage at the age of 1. Just by comprehending the perfect profound meaning, he actually, the corners of Light Man's mouth curled up slightly. It was unknown whether he was smiling or sighing. Behind him, Goddess Wakamin's beautiful eyes were completely wide open. Her fresh and refined face was filled with shock. 1 year old? Not yet at the Saint Ascension stage? He comprehended the divine light and condensed the light heart. Purring! A figure suddenly appeared and froze in front of Goddess Wakamin's eyes. She could not shift her gaze away. Goddess Wakamin's delicate body trembled slightly. She was in disbelief. She opened her cherry lips slightly and looked at Lightman's back. Captain, the person in the cultivation room is... The door of the cultivation room slowly opened. A tall and straight figure immediately appeared. He had a sunny smile on his face. His entire body was bathed in dense light energy. There were droplets of light on his forehead that were the same as Light Man's. Lin Feng's appearance instantly petrified Goddess Wakamin. All her doubts disappeared. It was really him. In the hall, Light Man, Meng Meng, and Goddess Wakamin were all gathered. After the first glory team suffered heavy losses, there were only 3 people left. They could not form a team. They could not carry out missions. 3 pairs of eyes fell on Lin Feng and sized him up carefully. Especially Vice Captain Meng Meng. Her big eyes were blazing as if she wanted to see through Lin Feng. Oh my God, he really condensed the light heart. Meng Meng covered her mouth in surprise. She was very cute. Goddess Wakamin's delicate and refined face was a little pale. She had always been extremely proud. Even if she missed the championship in the Battle of Glory because of the rules, she did not change because she was indeed the winner that day. Therefore, although she was a little embarrassed at that time, she still accepted the championship title. But now, looking at Lin Feng, she suddenly felt that she had fallen from the clouds. She was at a loss. All kinds of emotions were mixed in her heart. Lin Feng, I really can't believe you. Light Man shook his head and sighed. It's all thanks to your guidance, sir. Lin Feng was grateful and bowed slightly. Without Light Man's guidance and personal guidance, he would not have been able to comprehend the divine light and condense the light heart. In fact, the 2 things were done in one go. The moment he comprehended the divine light, he received the approval of the light origin. It was unexpected, but also within his expectations. He had originally planned to grasp the true meaning of light. Because of Wei Fu's insights on the divine light steel, he had a sudden epiphany and overlapped the contents of the steel with Light Man's picture. He had comprehended the divine light again and again. It was the same as Wei Fu. While comprehending the divine light, he had also grasped the true meaning of light and received the approval of the light origin. Hey, I'm just giving you some pointers. The key is still you. Light Man looked deeply at Lin Feng and then glanced at Ruo Meng. In terms of light aptitude, you are not as good as Ruo Meng, and your strength is also 1 level lower. However, you received the approval of the light origin earlier than her. I believe that other than your fortuitous encounter, your cultivation of the heart very outstanding. Light Man's words were full of certainty. As someone who had experienced this before, Light Man was very clear on what was needed to condense the divine light into a heart of light. The power of the heart was to destroy all darkness. This was the original intention behind Wei Fu's creation of the perfect profound meaning, divine light. It was also to pry open a corner of the true meaning of light. Perhaps. Lin Feng smiled. This time, his comprehension had come naturally. Although it had taken him half a month, it was only the blink of an eye for the comprehension of profound meanings. There had not been any obstacles. Perhaps this was the reason why he had received the approval of the light origin while comprehending the divine light. It was just as Light Man had said, the cultivation of the heart. Unfortunately, the divine light can only display powerful attacks against darkness. In terms of attack power, it can't even compare to a peak profound meaning, Light Man said. However, by relying on the power of the light origin, I believe that Lin Feng's strength will rise to a large level. Yes. This time, Lin Feng was not modest. Not only because he had fought with Light Man, but also because he had received the approval of the light origin. He knew how powerful the heart of light was. In the upcoming second round of the Path of Glory, he would give everyone a huge shock. To be continued. Chapter 805. After that, Lin Feng asked Light Man some questions about the light heart. After all, Light Man had condensed the light heart a long time ago. He had used it in a sparring session with Lin Feng. In addition, Light Man was amiable and didn't put on any airs. Where could he find such a good teacher? Lin Feng naturally wouldn't let go of such a good opportunity. If he fumbled around on his own, he would undoubtedly take some detours and waste time. It wasn't a soul of talent, nor was it a soul of earth. The light heart was a power that went straight to the heart. In the deepest part of the wisdom soul, only a perfect body could obtain the origin energy's recognition and withstand it. The light heart was driven by the heart. Similarly, it was comprehended by the heart. It was ethereal and ethereal. Actually, we feel that the light heart is unfathomable and ethereal because our strength hasn't reached that level, said Light Man. However, after Grand Nirvana, the origin energy's power is no longer mysterious. It can even be cultivated and strengthened. That's already a different level of life. Even so, obtaining the origin energy's recognition earlier has many benefits. Although the origin energy will be consumed and can't be maintained for long, the increase in combat strength is obvious. Furthermore, the light heart is extremely effective for cultivation, especially increasing the absorption of light energy by the origin. After obtaining the origin energy's recognition, not only will it be easier to comprehend the profound meaning of light, but it will also be stronger when used. You can also control it as you wish. I won't list the benefits one by one. You'll understand in the future, said Light Man. If the light heart's energy is exhausted, you just need to focus on the light heart to quickly recover. Of course, you can also let it slowly absorb itself. Alright, that's about it. Master these in the remaining half a month. Your strength will increase greatly. You might not be able to compare to Meng Meng and Ruo Meng, but you should be able to rank around 10th among the 5 participants. Your chances of advancing to the third round aren't small. Lin Feng nodded. In other words, excluding the stronger 4 or 5 of the 7 Glory Team members, he would be stronger than the 5 elite commanders ranked first in the group. Lin Feng trusted Light Man's judgment. The improvement is huge. Lin Feng sighed. He still hadn't truly understood the power of the light heart. However, from Guangnan's evaluation, he knew that his strength was definitely below 0 in the second round of 5 people. But now, he had risen by as much as 10 places. The strength levels that these 10 people had crossed were quite large. If you accidentally encounter me, humph, I will not be lenient. Meng Meng crossed her arms in front of her chest and said sweetly. Okay. Vice Captain Meng Meng. Lin Feng smiled. He turned his gaze to the goddess Wakaman, who was looking at him. Her beautiful face was still the same, but there were many emotions in her clear eyes. Lin Feng's eyes flashed. I'm looking forward to having another match with you, Ruo Meng. The memory of the Battle of Glorious Star was still fresh in his mind. He had once said that the next time he met Ruo Meng, he would defeat her fair and square. Me too. Goddess Wakaman finally spoke, her calm voice carrying a few ripples. This time, Goddess Wakaman's heart was shaken. Ace Army's territory. Lin Feng is back? Qian He's eyes lit up. Yes, Captain. A man in green said. I saw him come out of the glory territory with my own eyes. He should have returned to the 111 territory by now. Finally willing to show up. Huashan snorted. Very good. Qian He slapped the table and stood up. It was difficult to hide the anger and hatred in his eyes. If we don't suppress his spirit, he will go against the heavens. Let's go, Huashan, give this kid some color, let him know, humph, the older the ginger, the spicier. Yes, he dares to be disrespectful to Captain. He doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Huashan followed. The 111 territory. Sir, Qian He and Huashan request an audience. Housekeeper Gongsun Wen said. Lin Feng sneered. Housekeeper Gongsun Wen said, they have already come twice. During this period there are always people sneaking around outside the territory, they should be sent by Qian He. Half a month ago, they were preparing to barge into the territory. Sir, you are a member of the Kuei squad, they came with ill intentions. You must be careful. Lin Feng looked at the hesitant Gongsun Wen. Do you know what they are going to do? Housekeeper Gongsun Wen said. The Kuei squad has always had a bad reputation, Qian He is even more vengeful. Sir, you have offended him many times, and Miss Manzi has feelings for you. Qian He will definitely use his power to suppress you, or at least torment you and embarrass you. Using power to suppress people. Lin Feng muttered. Housekeeper Gongsun Wen said, the Glory Alliance has a clear hierarchy. Darren, as a member of the Kuei squad, you have to listen to him. It is very likely that he will send you to carry out some trivial tasks, and you will be tired from running around, and this is still the light punishment. If you go to the battlefield, he can even send you to be the bait, the vanguard, the rear guard, and other dangerous tasks. Lin Feng asked, what if I don't obey? Housekeeper Gongsun Wen said, for disobeying a military order, he will have an excuse to report you to the army commander. At that time, there will be trouble. Demotion is a small matter, but you will be severely punished and expelled from the Glory Alliance. Lin Feng nodded. Invite them in. Yes, sir. Captain, Vice Captain. Please sit down, I wonder what wind blew you here? Lin Feng greeted them with a smile. Humph, do you even have me, the Vice Captain, in your eyes? Huashan couldn't hide the anger in his eyes. First you rejected my alliance, and then you tried to kill me in the simulation, eliminating me from the competition. You don't care about our brotherhood at all. Vice Captain, you are wrong. Lin Feng said, I always do things one way and two ways. The path of glory qualification is a personal battle. What's wrong with everyone competing fairly? You. Huashan was so angry that his veins were exposed. Huashan. Qian He shouted, Lin Feng is right, this is this. He didn't cross the line during the qualification battle. Yes, Captain. Huashan suddenly deflated like a balloon. Lin Feng smiled at Qian He. This old fox, he wouldn't be so kind as to stand on his side, there would be more to it. Just as expected. But the competition is one thing, as a member of the Trump Card Army, a member of the Glory Alliance, we must first protect the safety of humanity and put our duty as the top priority. Qian He's expression was solemn, but Lin Feng, you didn't understand the severity of the matter, this is a big mistake, why didn't you immediately return after the first round? Lin Feng smiled and didn't answer. He gently sipped his tea. Qian He gritted his teeth, unable to restrain his anger. Don't think that Sir Lightman will support you. Let me tell you, Lin Feng, you are still a member of the Kuei squad. You must listen to my orders. Since you are back now, I won't haggle over the previous matters with you, but there is an urgent battlefield mission that you need to carry out, you must immediately. I refuse. Lin Feng lightly said these 3 words and put down his teacup. To be continued.